What's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace episode 460, our 2025 Thanksgiving episode, which means one thing if you've been following me for a long time, or you follow the crew at Game Trailers. We are doing our Turkey Awards today, and alongside me to do that, of course, is Matt Keil. Turkey Awards, you ready? They were easy this year.
Yeah, there was a lot to choose from.
There's no shortage. Sometimes whenever Matt and I are picking our Turkey Awards, there's like a back and forth, or we're like, I have to think about it for a while. Man, Usually I will ask you for yours, and at least one of yours will be something that I've picked, because, yep, there's not that many. This year, no. The two that you picked were completely different from the two that I picked. So anyway, that's kind of how things go for the Turkey Awards in 2025. There's plenty of stuff to get a little angry about, but hopefully you're not angry at all right now. We're all gearing up for Thanksgiving. In fact, if you're listening to this show and you're flying home, or you're driving home, or you're on a train somewhere, anybody who right now is in transit to their Thanksgiving dinner with their family, I hope you have safe travels. I hope you get there safely. Hope you have
nice
great
job
food.
getting Tuesday off.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, I hope everybody is excited for Thanksgiving. I do realize a big part of our audience is in Europe, and you guys are not celebrating. But here in America, it's a big deal. A couple things about Thanksgiving. So obviously, Thanksgiving is Thursday here in America. And then Friday is Black Friday. People who got to our stream a little early today got to see the Black Friday B-roll that we usually run every year here on GameFace. We're not really talking about Black Friday as a topic in this year's show. So we ended up just running it for people to watch as they waited for the stream to start today.
Yeah,
but
because Black Friday isn't really a
it's
topic
not a thing anymore, Matt. Especially this year. I've been getting all these emails from people saying, oh, Black Friday specials, Black Friday deals, or whatever. It's 20% off.
Yeah, that's nothing. Also, they started on last Friday.
Yeah.
All the Black Friday stuff on Amazon went up on last Friday.
Yeah. Do you think this could end up being one of the worst shopping seasons in America in a really, really,
I don't
really
know.
long time?
You'd think so, but forecasts are saying that it might be even bigger.
Oh, really?
It's hard to say because everything costs so much now.
I know.
That it might just sort of even out.
That's true. So they'll just look at how much money was spent on something and not what people got for that money. Yeah. I see. So you're right. Because of inflation, it could actually set records. Mm-hmm. But if you actually look at what people got for the money.
Inflation's crazy. I mean,
it's so bad.
This week I did what maybe the closest thing to a Thanksgiving tradition my family ever had, which is to watch the season 4 Thanksgiving episode of the Bob Newhart Show from 1975. Which aired 50 years ago this week. It's called Over the River and Through the Woods.
Okay.
And it's basically about his wife goes to Seattle for her family's Thanksgiving. And he doesn't want to go, so he makes an excuse and stays home. And he stays in he's a psychiatrist, so one of his patients and some of his friends come over, and they all get drunk watching the William and Mary game because you take a swig of this homemade vodka every time the other team scores, and it's their biggest loss in history. So everybody gets horribly drunk, and they order a ton of. There's a very famous scene. They order Chinese food, and they're all super drunk, and it's just drunk people ordering Chinese food. It's very, very funny. It's a huge Mugu Gai Pan thing.
Okay.
And at the end of the episode, the guy shows he's hungover and his wife's home, and she's like, "What the hell was wrong with you?" And they deliver this giant crate of Chinese food, and the bill is $93.80.
Which back
then, everyone's like, "Oh!" But and I looked it up, and that's $566 today.
That's a lot of Chinese food.
Yeah. So, and I'm just like, "Oh, how did that even happen?" No wonder we used to think a quarter was a lot of money on a fucking arcade game.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it kind of was for sure. $1 was a lot of money when we were kids.
Yeah. Well, I remember there's a guy, I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but he does plays old arcade games and keeps track of how many quarters he spends on them to figure out how much money it would cost to beat it.
Right.
And then it's part of his report on it. He translates how much when the game came out, if it costs you that much, how much does that work out to today? And usually you're spending about $15-20 in 2025 money to beat one of these old arcade games. But I think he's really good. I mean, he's young. I think he's maybe 30, early 30s, so he definitely wasn't around for these games.
Yeah.
But he definitely beat Smash TV with less money than it would take me to beat Smash TV.
Impressive.
I assure you.
All right.
And I also didn't know until that episode that there is one guy who claims he can beat Smash TV on one quarter. and I do not believe him.
I don't believe him either. I don't either. That's impossible, man.
No, I don't.
There's just so much randomness.
I'm like, okay, then show me.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Like we can record video game footage now. Show me you beating Smash TV on 1/4. I want to see it. I will sit down and watch that.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do like about Thanksgiving is a time for reflection. You can look back and you can look across the year and look at the things and the people that helped you along the way, and you can be thankful for that. And I want to take this moment to thank you. If you are watching this show right now, whether you're watching it live on YouTube or Twitch, or you're watching the archive on our Patreon or on SIFTD or on YouTube, I just want to say thank you. If you liked the show, if you subscribe to our channel, anything that any of you guys have ever done to help SIFTD, thank you. I appreciate it. This day, I always reflect on people who have helped me. This guy right here, I can't even tell you how thankful I am for Matt Keil. So this is the time where you kind of look back and think about people who have helped you out, who gave you a little push along the way. It's time to thank those people. And the other thing I always
thank them by eating.
Seriously. The one thing I always remember about Thanksgiving, though, is like the car rides. Like getting in the car with the family and driving somewhere and putting like my Walkman on at the time, which was this little thing that played cassette tapes. And just listening to my music in the backseat of the car and driving with the family. When we record this episode of GameFace every year, I imagine somebody doing that and with their phone and their AirPods in and listening to GameFace while they're driving to see their family. Anyway, if you're one of those people right now, I hope you get there safe and I hope you have an amazing time with your family. So
yeah, we never did that.
Really?
No.
People came to your house?
No, nobody came to our house.
Oh, really?
No. My mom and my sister and I would go to my grandma's house, who just lived one town over. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
like 20 minutes.
That's still a little drive,
And
though.
it was a little bit, but it's like, by the time you get your earphones in, you're there.
You're there, yeah.
So, yeah, we did. Thanksgiving was never a thing in my house. Like I said, watching that Thanksgiving episode is about it. And sometimes there would be like turkey instead, but like turkey's not actually very good.
I hate turkey.
It's dry.
I am way more. Christmas is way better.
Yeah, like I've had good turkey in the past, but like it's just like it's so rare.
Yeah,
like you got to work.
It's
so
always
hard
dried
on
out.
it.
If people are like, oh, we're gonna deep fry, it's still dry.
Some of it, I mean, so I don't know if you noticed, but Alton Brown came back this week.
I don't even know what that is.
Good Eats.
No, I don't know
that show.
that.
It's a cooking show from back in the day called Good Eats. He looks like Sessler.
Oh, I don't even know aware of it. No.
Alton, he was the name in cooking television for like the early 2000s. Like a whole Good Eats is like one of the top, like Julia Child level popular. Mm-hmm. And he just came back with a YouTube show. It's going to be weekly, but with the production value of that old show. And his first one was his 20-year up. His last time he did a turkey cooking episode was Good Eats in like 1999.
Wow!
And as he says in the episode, so in the ensuing decades,
quarter century.
Yeah, it's like, it was like his updated technique on that. I actually sent it to Adam, and I'm just like, I don't know how it happens, but I've always wanted to see the Alton Brown Adam Sessler crossover episode. Please work on that. So
I also want to take a minute to thank the people who are scrolling right below there right now. Those people pledge at $30 a month or more, and they're just very generous. And I just appreciate them so much. Anybody who has ever had their name scrolling along the bottom of the show, thank you. Even people who don't do it anymore, financial, whatever, you had to stop doing, whatever, thank you. Because that's the commitment that we can count on our Patreon. Like all the other money is like nebulous. Like what we make on YouTube every month, we never know. It could be a good month. It could be a bad month. What we get from Twitch Prime every month, we don't know. Sometimes you guys do it. Sometimes you don't. But our Patreon is something that we can always count on. So the people who make the commitment to pledge there at a $30 a month or more, just amazing. Thank you guys. Like I think you guys know how much I appreciate you. So what else we got here before we get going? We have a huge show this week. We have 6 main topics this week. As I said, we're going to talk about our Turkey Awards, where we give away nefarious awards for 2025. These are not awards that people want to get. And Matt and I will both have a runner-up and a winner. We're going to review Kirby Air Riders today. That is the Switch 2 exclusive racing game that just came out a couple days ago. We're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Xbox 360 today. And I know our audience, you guys all lived through that time period. So when the time comes, hopefully you guys will sort of think about it as the show goes on. And when we get to that point, you can start sharing some of your memories and what you remember about the Xbox 360 and what made it special for you. We're going to review the Analogue 3D today, which is this really cool, you may be able to see it there if you look next to Matt. It's this really cool third-party N64 console. And we'll get into more details on it. But anyway, it's really cool, and he just got that this weekend. We're going to go over the Xbox partner preview that happened last week, where there's a handful of games we're going to talk about from that. We're going to review Inazuma 11 Victory Road, which is level 5 soccer RPG. We got a big show. And I will say the lightning round's a little smaller this week, but it's still banging. Like, we have some really good stories in the lightning round. So we are going to send you guys into the holiday weekend in style. I promise you. And some notes as far as that is concerned. So Thursday, obviously, the site's going to be dark. It is Thanksgiving. I'm not doing anything but sitting on the couch and watching football. So the site will be dark on Thursday for Thanksgiving. And then on Friday, on Black Friday, I'm not sure. It'll depend on how I feel when I get up on Friday. Most people are off work on Friday in America. I may work a little bit. We'll see. But I guarantee you on Thursday, nothing's happening. So you'll have to just watch GameFace and wait for us to get back into action. But I think what you're going to see starting tomorrow is pretty much the entire United States shuts down. Because everybody, if they're flying somewhere, they're leaving tomorrow. All the websites in America are not going to be publishing anything for the rest of the week. So...
And that's a great time for some Japanese developer to drop something real important.
You're right. It does seem to happen that way for some reason.
Nintendo Direct on Friday.
Yeah,
there we go.
It could happen, for sure. So anyway, GameFace 460 looks awesome. Let's check in with you guys before we get going, like we like to do. Let's see. Looks like I could adjust the window on our YouTube
460 is 100 better than the 360. So.
Yeah. And actually, that kind of worked out, though, didn't it?
That's what they should have called the Xbox Series X.
The 460?
The 460. Who gives a shit? Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like,
None of it matters.
It's not like Series X makes more sense.
Let's see who's helped us out with Twitch Prime in here today. I want to make sure that I thank you guys pro. There's a bunch of stuff going on in here. Too Quick Capri, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. To Limper, thank you for Twitch Prime. And as always, folks, if you ever want us to recognize you when we go through chat, always go at SIFTD Games, and we can pick that out really easily and answer your questions if you have them. Dazzle369 is asking if anyone played Where Winds Meet. We have not. Neither of us have played that yet. Maybe for next week's show, we'll see.
I'm not touching that AI shit.
Is that AI?
The NPCs and the voice acting and a bunch of stuff is all AI.
Were they honest about it?
Pretty much. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't know if they're honest
like
about
they had
it.
no choice.
Yeah.
What else we got here? iViz, thank you for Twitch Prime. JReedVic7, thank you. Matter of Fact says I got a solid deal on Lego Horizon and Stellar Blade through Amazon's Black Friday deal.
That's
okay, good. Some of the I did see some.
It's very
game
good.
deals.
You didn't pay too much for Lego Horizon.
Yeah, I did see some of the game deals are okay. Like there's some good deals on like Silent Hill F and some more recent games. I was kind of surprised that kind of showed that maybe they're not selling very well. We'll see. Norix Nessie 94, thank you for Twitch Prime. Who else we got in here? Age of the Legend. Hey, Shane, how about them Los Angeles Rams? Yep, you guys are looking good, man. You guys may be the best team in the NFL. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt on that one. They might be the best team in the NFL right now. JM Ray 99, thank you for Twitch Prime. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're ready for the holidays. Oh, and look, he's dropping some Tier 1 subs to our crew. Thank you, JM Rain. Happy Thanksgiving to you, brother. What else we got in here? Anything else? Thank you, SIFTD Games. No, thank you, Dazzle369. Thank you for your support, man. Thanks to all you guys for your support. This is the day where I thank all you guys as much as I can. I may get annoying eventually, but I mean it from my heart. You guys know that. E. Thielen says, I prefer ham. So do I.
Same.
Ham is way better. Way more unhealthy,
Yeah.
but way better.
Well, that's why it tastes better.
It is. Why is that? Why is it that stuff tastes good?
We are wired to like fat and sugar because that's when you only get tiny bits of it in the wild. We would be that's what would help us survive.
Interesting.
And now we have it.
Now we're screwed.
Now, but we can control what we want to eat, so we make as much as we want, and that's what screws us.
Yeah. J. Reed Vic 7 says turkey is life. Shane does have a point though. It is rarely prepared well. It's a bird that requires patience. I mean, it's
and patience is not what America does, as
that.
well you know.
Yeah. Emperor Dread says he found a trick to make turkey not dry.
Oh, there's a bunch of different. It just takes a long time. You have to be careful, and it takes a long time. It takes patience, and a lot of people are not able to do that, especially when you're trying to plan for 400 people coming over and getting this. I mean, that's not the only thing someone who's hosting Thanksgiving dinner has to do.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing to get done right.
It's true.
And Sunday, well, actually, probably the best Thanksgiving meal I ever made was I marinated a tenderloin all day and went out to everyone else's Thanksgiving thing and came home and cooked the tenderloin, and that was very good.
Erebus got held by the auto mod for saying I got a rolled and boned joint, way easier to cook than boned. It won't let me.
I think Vincent already did it.
Oh, okay. What else we got? Aussie Brit 2000. Thank you for Twitch Prime. what else? He says, stop by the pink lot and tailgate, man. I thought about going to the Steelers played the Chargers in LA a couple weeks ago, and the nosebleed seats were $300. And I still almost spent it. I was all like, you know what?
Football's a rich man spectator sport.
I mean, it kind of is. But I was like, I still almost went. I was like, the Steelers only come here once every 2 years, and my wife, generally.
Because we go there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And my wife was like, no. She put the kibosh on it. And she's as big a Steeler fan as I am. And she was like, we're not doing it.
I mean, for those seats.
She was like, we're not going to spend $700 to sit up in the nosebleed. Yeah. She's like, I'd rather watch it at home on our awesome TV. And so we did. I didn't even go. Which sucks, because I don't get the chance to see the Steelers very often.
I got to that point with E3.
Yeah.
I don't wait. I'm standing out in the June LA sun to go into the theater and sit like way back and watch like tiny little versions of Phil Harrison walking by. Not going to do that.
Yeah. Surprised the partner preview didn't get shoved into the lightning round. It was better than the State of Play, Vincent. Yeah, I thought it was way better than the State of Play. Believe me, I thought about it, but it deserves its own topic. What else we got? Big Dave Lazard, thank you for Twitch Prime, man. That's awesome. Eve Demon says Steam deals are often. Yeah, I think the Steam has cried wolf at this point. There's so many big sales that they have that I don't even check them out anymore.
Yeah, I mean there is stuff going on. PlayStation store has some stuff going on. I mean, you can't beat $5.99 for the Mass Effect Legendary Collection if you don't have that already. But in general. I look through those deals. I'm like, I have all this. I have all the stuff I care about, and everything else that's on, 90% of what's actually on sale. Otherwise, is whatever. Mm-hmm. I think I got the last Ace Attorney collection I didn't have for $19.
That's pretty good.
Which is because they're usually $49.
Yeah, they're outrageous.
That's a lot of money for old DS games, right?
Yeah.
But you can get some. I think Silent Hill 2 is. They're pretty good price on the Silent Hill 2 remake right now.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of the Assassin's Creed stuff is cheap across the board. If you don't, but again, it's just stuff there's a reason these things are $4 because everyone already owns it.
Yeah. There's not many people.
Unless you want to own Assassin's Creed 3 remastered on every platform.
Yeah.
I guess there's probably somebody out there.
Swan Senpai says PS5's got €150 discounts on all versions in Ireland. That's actually all over Europe, Swan Senpai.
It's almost launched price.
It is pretty much. So they've been screwed because PlayStation's kept the prices the same here for the base PS5. They've increased the prices on everybody else to cover Trump's tariffs. Mm-hmm. So you guys have been getting screwed in Europe. I did a huge diet. I freaked out about this on the latest Ask Shane Anything. You should watch it. I kind of blew a gasket a little bit about it, about how, and I was just like, why isn't Europe pissed off? You're totally getting screwed over Trump's tariffs, and they're just like, okay, we'll just keep paying more.
I think they're basically learning they're shifting things around to become more independent of America,
right?
And in the end, that's what the end result of this is going to be: is the world is going to be able to function better without us, and we will no longer have the leverage we did before, and it will lessen America's status in the world, which is probably good for the world as a whole. You don't really want to have to be held hostage by this one big nation that could possibly vote in a lunatic.
Yeah,
everyone.
They should be doing that. I recommend it for sure. Retro Modern Gamer says, I have not been here for a few weeks, but I called the Steam Machine sequel a few months back during an episode of GameFace. Awesome. That's impressive. Erebus says, missed the best game of the week, Night Dives Outlaws Remaster.
I thought about that, but $30 is a lot for that.
Yeah. Nix de Trois. 7-episode streak. Rock on. Any Ghost of Yote deals? There aren't, Mike's Q. I haven't seen any yet anyway, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
It's sold very well. It's already sold 4 million, so my guess is there probably won't be any discounts until next year sometime.
Maybe Christmas. You might get 10% off at Christmas.
Yeah. Eric Cartman has turkey better than ham. Fair enough. Everybody has their own opinions and their own tastes. Literally tastes. Jerry Vick seems more and more common for people to do Mexican or seafood for Thanksgiving. Interesting. I haven't heard about that.
I mean, I would do Mexican for most things instead. So
yeah. Shane, if they come and play the Rams, I got you 2 seats, section 200. Wow, that would be awesome. If the Steelers played the Rams in LA and you and I got to get together and go tailgate and party all day and go to a Steelers Rams game, that would be awesome, man. That would be so much fun. Best way for Steam is to use the wish list and get notifications for deals on those. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. TV Hardy, thank you for Twitch Prime. What else we got in here? It's cheaper than launch. €350, €450 with a game. Even Ghost of Yote Special Console was in the sale. That's awesome.
No, that's good.
That's great to hear. You guys deserve it, man. It's insane how PlayStation's been treating you guys. Like, Europe has been a PlayStation stronghold since the PS1. And they're just treating you guys like trash. Like, they are basically saying, oh, America's screwing us over, but all the money we're going to lose in America, we're going to get it back from the European fans. That's pretty much what's happening. It's really sad and pathetic, but it is
now
what it
that
is.
Sony has definitely decided not to get in on any of the studio acquisitions in terms of Warner Brothers or Paramount, I wonder if that'll change.
Maybe.
Because one of the reasons I think they might have been doing that is because they knew they had to fly under the radar, because the FTC the FCC would have to like approve whatever merger that might be, but they stayed out of those bidding wars. So
okay, let's check over on YouTube. Excuse me, Mice Q. I have like 4 pies to make today, and tomorrow I'm gonna have my first fire in my fireplace since I moved into my house 5 years ago. That's awesome, Mice Q. That's great, man. Toon Medic, I hope you both have a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you. I am a nurse, but I have off, so I will be spending my time with my 2 baby girls and lovely wife. Awesome, man. I hope you have a good time. JFJR says, wore my 360 0-hour hoodie on Saturday as an homage to the anniversary. So we were just talking about that. Is that the same thing that we were at?
Yeah, that's the
So
hangar
you were
launch.
out in the desert for the launch of the 360 with Matt and I then.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, to
Someone
be fair,
had to be.
To
There
be
was a
fair,
bunch
there
of
were
people.
thousands of people there. So, but he's the first person that I've ever ran into who was also there. Have you
I've
run
run
into
into some,
Have
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Like people in the industry, obviously, but never a random person have I
I've run
ran
into like
into.
random people
Really?
sometimes. Like,
There was probably 3,000 people out there.
that feels high.
Yeah, that's maybe too many.
I feel like it was a couple hundred.
Really?
It wasn't that. If you look at pictures of that, there's not that many people there.
Really? It was a big hangar, though.
Let's
But it's
see.
just crazy that was 2 decades ago. Again, we are going to celebrate the Xbox 360 on today's
I have like
episode.
2 or 3 of those hoodies in the closet.
Do you?
So, yeah. I don't wear them.
I've never worn it.
I don't wear it because there's no zipper.
Yeah, it's just in my
it's
closet.
a pullover. I don't.
Yeah, I've never worn it. Are those things worth money? Probably not.
Almost certainly not.
Yeah, nobody cares. They're like, what? Most people don't even know what the hell it is. But we went and did a live broadcast from there on the night of the Xbox 360 launch and everything. So, Nightwing 3060 says he got Unicorn Overlord for $25. That's a good deal. That's a good game. Yep. What else we got here? Okay, I think that's it. All right.
About $99.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
I mean, for a 20-year-old hoodie, it's that you got for free.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that they're selling for that much. Like, I figured it'd be like $20 or they'd have to give it away. So, doing a little better than I thought. So, some people must know what it is, at least a little bit. All right. We're about ready to kick off the show and deliver our Turkey Awards for 2025. But before we do that, here's a word from our awesome sponsor, LS Cream. It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink Cré Mas, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted. That's right, sifters. Go to creamls.com/sifted and become a part of the Cream team. And we are running out of opportunities. That's the other thing I probably should have said in the intro is we're running out of episodes for 2025. We only have a couple more before the year is kind of over here. So we are also running out of opportunities to remind you to join the LS Cream 5K Challenge where you can win $5,000 USD. $5,000 USD. And you will win right after the holidays. If you spend a ton of money buying stuff for everybody else over the next like 4 or 5 weeks, if you win this, you can recoup all that money and then some, and then buy yourself something awesome with the gift cards that you got from everybody else, right? So anyway, how it works is you have to create your own drink using LS Cream. But the first thing you need to do is go to creamls.com/sifted. sign up for the website, and then find the forms that you need to fill out to enter the contest. You got to do that stuff first, or your entry will not count. Once you've done that, get yourself a bottle of LS Cream, create some awesome drink, and I'm telling you, it's easy, because LS Cream mixes great with just about anything. Take a picture of your drink, put the bottle there, like next to your drink, kind of like something like that there. Maybe have a cool background, maybe have naked people in I'm kidding.
The HBO method.
Seriously. But anyway, take a picture of it, upload it to Instagram, tag LS Cream on Instagram, tag 3 of your friends. That's very important because obviously this is a promotion. They want people to discover LS Cream through this. So tag a few of your friends and then just cross your fingers and hope that you win. Again, the winner gets $5,000 USD. It is worth the effort. I'm just telling you, if you get a bottle of LS Cream, you're going to love it anyway. And whether you win or not, you'll be like, well, damn, I have this awesome liqueur anyway. So it's a win-win proposition. Join the LS Cream 5K Challenge. Go to creamls.com/sifted. All right. And with that, it's time for our Turkey Awards for 2025, where we hand out a runner-up and a winner. And these aren't awards that generally publishers and developers want to get because we're not rewarding them for doing good things, and generally we're chiding them for doing bad things. Now, the Turkey Awards, it's something that I have been doing for probably 15 or 16 years at this point. We used to do it on my old podcast on game trailers called Invisible Walls. We did it there, and then as soon as I started my own thing here at SIFTD, we continued doing it. Matt and I have now done it for 10 years in a row. It's kind of fun to look back, and usually it's hard to find the winners of the Turkey Awards, but not this year. It was actually really, really easy. So, Matt, what is your runner-up pick for your Turkey Award for 2025?
My runner-up is console price hikes.
Something we were just talking about before we kicked off this topic.
And just to be clear, I mean, obviously the price hikes, a lot of the price hikes do actually predate the tariffs. Like Sony's been doing this, like, the whole generation pretty much for some reason, and Microsoft did a little bit of it. Like the cost of this hardware is just not dropping. Moore's law is sort of over. The cost of components doesn't drop like it has in the last the previous generations, although that already kind of started last generation. And you're just even with the
PS4 never hit rock bottom.
Yeah, even with stuff like the Switch, like that OLED screen costs as much to make as it costs to make.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to get any cheaper. So you're just not seeing any drops, but now you're starting to see them just raise prices. And we're probably going to see it again with Xbox with the shortage of RAM that's happening now. So
do you feel like maybe the Series S was an opportunity to maybe, okay, you increase the price on Series X, but maybe you lower the price slightly on Series S?
I don't know.
Seems like maybe that might have been a smart decision.
Maybe. I mean, since Series X already kind of seems like the loser,
maybe.
But like, you're already kind of thinking too progressive for Microsoft at that point. So yeah, I think this is, in general, I just think this is like, I think this just sucks. Like
it really does.
Like it's such a 180 to sort of the razor blade model that the industry has used for like basically as long as it's existed as a console market, where like you want to get the console in the hands of as many people as you can, so you're making money selling the software to them. That's sort of the way that the conventional wisdom has gone for 40 years at this point or plus. Yeah, and now, because 40 years ago was only 1985, so like consoles are before. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that 2600 really followed that model, but that was more of a luxury item. But I
mean, it's been a confluence of crap, to be honest with you.
A lot of stuff put together.
There's a bunch of stuff that came together to make this happen. You have AI driving up the prices of everything because they want to dedicate all the hardware to AI. You have Trump's tariffs, which have driven up costs, and you have the hardware manufacturers who are unwilling to lower the prices on their consoles over time like they used to, and instead have reversed it and started passing on the extra charges that they're suffering to their consumers.
And you have inflation, and you have just outright greed and price gouging.
Yeah,
like there's one of the main reasons you're paying more for lettuce is because the distributors realize that they can raise the price of that when they sell it to the grocery stores, and nobody does anything about it.
Yep.
So
people don't complain enough. I mean, that's a big problem, is that people are just sitting on. It's like I was talking about with like Europe and what's happening to European PlayStation fans. They're not saying anything until they get pissed off and start a petition or do whatever you do. Nothing's going to change.
I mean, I wouldn't say that about Europe, because Europe does get pissed off about all the right things. Like, look what happens in France when they say that we're going to make them retire 2 years later.
But I'm just saying, in this case in particular, they have not.
Maybe they just don't give a shit. because it's a video game system and not important to life.
Maybe. I mean, it seems like they all buy them.
But not that many. I mean, like tens of millions of people is not going to start a riot in the streets. Yeah, is what I'm saying, across all of Europe. Like it's not something that people are going to be up in arms about. Right?
I'm actually curious. I don't know this. Maybe you do. Per capita, who buys more consoles, the U.S. or Europe?
I don't know.
I would like to know that information, actually. Maybe somebody in chat can just Google it real fast and dig it up. But I'm just wondering, like, generally, do Americans buy more consoles or do Europeans?
I would guess that per capita, it's probably Americans.
You think so? Because we sell a lot more, but we also have way more people. So
right. But per capita would be per person. Like,
right.
My guess would be Americans because we just overconsume everything.
Probably.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that Europeans have better things to do. They can walk places and go to cafes and...
That was what I was kind of getting at. Is there a cultural difference in that Europeans just don't play games as much, and they prefer to go out and do other things instead of sitting inside and playing games as much as Americans?
I'm sure they do, but like, it's... I don't know. What do I know about European culture? I've been there several times, but like every time I've been there, it felt like there was more reason to go outside.
Yeah.
Like
I'd agree, actually. Like, if you go to Europe, everybody is outside.
Yeah.
Everyone's walking around. They're riding bikes. They're at cafes. It's not like America, where everyone rides in a car so they can be away from everybody else.
Well, because those cities are hundreds of years old, and they were built for people to walk around.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's all.
There's so many differences between the U.S. and Europe. Just the train system and everything. You're more mobile there, and you can get around.
Remember, L.A. used to have one of the greatest public transportation systems in the whole world, and then they dismantled it when the rubber companies and the fast food companies bought them all up, dismantled them, and built freeways. Mm-hmm. Like Roger Rabbit, other than the cartoons, is true.
Yeah.
Like that is really what happened.
It's true. Yep. So your runner-up is the console price increases.
The console price increases, which I don't know. I'm sure you could justify it on paper to me if you sat me down with a PowerPoint presentation and a bunch of executives. But it's like, why would you pass on that? You're making billions of dollars. Why are you passing that hardship on? The philosophy was always to take a loss in the hardware to get the software in the hands of people, because that's where the real money was made. And if that's no longer a viable option, it makes me question whether the whole model is in play anymore. And I
think it's to your point, is they can get away with it.
Yeah.
Until people start revolting, stop buying it, start revolting. See, the thing with food that makes it different is that people have to buy food.
You have to buy the food, yeah.
And that's where it's really dirty.
Well, but I mean, it's endemic across the whole retail spectrum. There's always that, I don't remember the name of it. It's an economic concept that has a name, but I don't remember what it was called. But it's basically why isn't milk $20? Mm-hmm. Because if everyone needs milk, why don't you just charge all this huge amount of money for eggs, and everyone will pay it because they need eggs?
Well, there are usually laws in place to prevent
No, not here. Not
really?
Here. No.
I mean, usually.
The
government does stop monopolies.
That's not a monopoly if everybody does it.
Well, that's price fixing, which is also illegal.
But nobody does anything about it. Price fixing happened during the pandemic.
The government is supposed to do something about it.
Well, the government is supposed to do a lot of things that it doesn't do right now.
That's true. Yeah.
And didn't in the last presidential term either. Let's be clear.
No, it's true.
Biden didn't do anything of value in that regard either.
Yep.
And if you just, but I'm talking independent of that. If you what's stopping anybody from just charging $20 for milk? And the idea has always been, it's an economic concept that you will make more money charging less money for essentials because everyone will buy them. More people will be able to afford to buy them. So you're going to make more money charging $2 for a gallon of milk than you would charging $20 because you're going to sell 5 times as much.
Yeah, I mean the way
that doesn't seem to hold anymore.
Yeah, well the way it used to work was if one of them was charging $20 for the gallon of milk, another one would be like, okay,
everyone else would undercut.
We'll charge $3.
Yeah,
and we'll still make money.
And now everyone's like, wait, they're charging $20. We're going to charge $20.
Well, they also are all. There's 3 grocer conglomerates in America now. They're all the same company, and that's the big problem.
Well, actually, the big problem is the distributors.
Yeah.
The grocery stores and the grocery chains are charging, off of what they have to pay wholesale. Mm-hmm. The wholesalers from the distribution centers are the ones that are gouging the prices for the most part. And no one's actually looking into this. Although Harris's people were looking into it, but we'll never find out what she was going to do about that.
Yeah.
Both sides have been very bad about addressing this because when the pandemic happened, obviously prices started to go up because of demand and because of shortages and but after that was sort of all leveled out, they kept going up because they all realized we can just keep charging.
We got away with this.
We're just going to keep going up until we see people level off, and that's basically what they did. Now, and remember, everyone talks about fixing inflation. Prices never go back down.
Never.
They never go back down. There is no time when games are going to be $50 again.
It. Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen. So once you let it go, it never comes back.
Yeah.
And that's that kind of the worrisome thing about these game prices. Like, and that's why, when now we're staring down the barrel of $1,000 PlayStation 6.
But to be fair, consumers said no to the $850 PS5 Pro. So maybe that taught somebody something? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I really don't know how the companies will react. We are talking about the company that once told us to get a second job to afford a PS3.
Well, also, we should point out that, as we mentioned, in Europe, they've dropped the price of PS5 back down to the launch price, but the PlayStation 5 Pro, no discounts.
Yeah.
Anywhere. In Europe or the US. It is still sitting right where it's always been.
Well, and you've got, people talking about the Steam, the realism of how much the Steam machines are going to cost is starting to set in this week, where people are like, yeah, these things are going to be $700 minimum, and there were people out there that thought these things were going to be $400. And
we'll
I don't know
that.
what
That's
world.
a topic later on. I have a whole story to tell about that. Let me tell you, it's been an interesting week.
So I think everyone should probably brace for impact for the pricing for the next generation, and I believe very strongly that this generation's starting too soon. I don't think you should be seeing PS6 or any of this new stuff until 2030.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it's insane that something you pay $600-$700 for only lasts like 7 years.
I agree.
As the current model. That's
one thing
ridiculous.
Pachter likes to do that really shocks me is he takes a look at what people spend on a console and then adds in the games and says, so if you're a casual person and you buy a console and you just buy Madden every year or NBA 2K every year, when you actually factor in how much you spent for the console, you're spending like $170 or $180 a year just to play Madden. Because you spent the money on the console. So if you divide it by how many games and how many years you have it, you're spending crazy amounts of money just to play Madden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, I spend that much on 7 movie tickets.
That's true. Yeah.
Just everything's too expensive.
Agreed.
The rent's too damn high.
Yeah, I agree.
That guy was right all those years ago.
You're right. All right, next up for the Turkey Awards, my runner-up for the Turkey Award for 2025. This may surprise people until I explain it, but my winner is Rockstar Games. And what really pisses me off about Rockstar Games
Doesn't
is...
seem like a nice place to work.
I'll get to that. But they just don't care about anybody. Like, I really feel like they do not care about anyone.
I mean, they may have the most appropriate name of any studio in the industry.
Seriously. They have basically just dogged the industry for the last 12 months with Grand Theft Auto 6. It has caused executives to lose their minds, and ultimately some people will lose their jobs.
Sword of Damocles.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like, look, you guys are going to deal with whatever we're going to do.
I mean, they know they're the 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want.
And they're throwing their weight around, and look at a certain...
And like, you're going to sit here and complain about the Silkwood guys? Silkwood. That's a very different movie. Silk Song guys?
Yeah.
It's like, those guys were pretty straightforward with how they, we got to put it out sometimes. We're putting it out here. We're not going to create a bunch of doom and gloom. We're not going to do a bunch of like, but like, GTA's been hanging over everybody for like a year and a half.
And if you think Sam Houser did not know when they announced the first release date that it probably was not going to hit that release date, I have a bridge to sell you. Because he knew when they gave that release date that there was probably no way in hell that game was going to be done in time. One thing I know about the Housers and the internal circle at Rockstar Games is that the people who are the executives, they're kind of the lead testers. They play the game obsessively.
They have a very more clear picture than the average exec of where the project is.
Yes. You could see this when they did a developer doc for Mind's Eye, where it went behind the scenes of the development of Mind's Eye. And as you guys know, that's Leslie Benzie's new game, a complete disaster.
And after everything that Leslie Benzie said, the Rockstar guys will go...
Yeah. But he was one of the triumvirate at Rockstar Games. It was the two Housers, and it was him. He left to do his own thing. He still is doing things the way he did them at Rockstar. So in that developer doc, it shows him, like, granularly talking about the game with the developer saying, played this last night. This is the stuff that needs fixed. Like, most executives in the games industry are not like that. Rockstar is like that. They believe that's the special sauce that makes their games great. It's them. Those couple people, they think, are sprinkling the pixie dust on their projects.
Rockstar is other than maybe the people who fund Kojima, are the biggest proponents of auteur theory in the industry.
Yep.
well, maybe the people who think Miyamoto should make more games.
Right. I'm actually one of those people. I wish he would do at least something. Maybe he makes one more game before
he admits that he's out of ideas.
I know.
Leave him alone. Man's 80.
He has done his part.
Served his time.
For sure.
If he just wants to like look at rough cuts for the rest of his life,
yeah,
go for it.
And I'm not even so mad at Rockstar for what it did to its fans, although that is one angle of it. I'm more angry at how it's just screwing over the entire games industry. You're forcing everybody else to jump around you and you make knee-jerk decisions about your game. And it's like, I get it. They're not responsible for everybody else. I understand that. And I'm sure there are people who are watching this being like, well, F that. That's capitalism. Like, you can do whatever. And you're right. I do agree with that. But at the same time, the game development industry is sort of a brotherhood. It's not that big.
Not to them.
And
Rockstar's never been part of that.
Yes, that's actually true. Although they are more now than they used to be.
More, but I mean, you remember they used to just sort of come out of a hole every once in a while and say, here's your thing, and throw ping pong at you and go away again.
But they do hire people now from other development teams. For a long time, they wanted to raise the people inside their studio to become the rock stars.
They had this whole culture of like, we don't get influenced from outside things.
Right.
Like no other games influence
That has
us.
changed. They now hire people who have
That's
worked
why
at
you were
Naughty
hammering
Dog
the X button to run for so long with these things.
So anyway,
they resisted modernizing the design of these games for so long.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I know. Rockstar, my point is, Rockstar knows what it's doing. It knows that it's screwing over the rest of the industry every time it does this. It knows it's making other people jump through hoops. It knows it's pissing people off. It knows it's pissing its fans off. And then we start getting stories about actually developing at Rockstar Games. And basically they fired, 30 or 40 developers. Rockstar said that they were sharing company secrets on a private Discord server. As it turns out, Rockstar went on Slack and made some comment about people like talking or whatever. Then the people went onto the private Discord to discuss what Rockstar Games put on Slack, and that got them fired. So they were talking about forming a union because the things that Rockstar had said on Slack sent up a bunch of red flags. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, we probably need to start a union here. So they start talking about forming a union on Discord, and Rockstar fires them and says that they were sharing company secrets, which is a total lie. Because now the messages from Discord are starting to come out in public. There was a great article published yesterday. It's on SIFTD if you want to watch it, that has transcripts of everything that was on Discord, and there is no reason those people should have been fired. So this is on the heels of Rockstar, which probably started the whole crunch is bad thing. So it doesn't look like Rockstar has learned many lessons across the years about treating its employees well. It definitely is treating its fans like crap, and it's treating the rest of the industry like crap. So while it isn't my Turkey Award winner for 2025, it is my runner-up for Turkey in 2025.
You're on the list.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what's your winner for the Turkey Award for 2025?
My winner is, I think as I phrased it to you in the message, Microsoft. Just Microsoft.
I didn't know what B-roll to show for this at all. I'm just going to let him go.
I mean, this isn't super deep, really. It's just like, it feels like Microsoft had such a hard time with the Xbox One, and like they handed over the wrong people, and you basically cleared out this stable of some probably the best second party and like first party development support you had out there. They built this amazing group of people that were funneling great content into the Xbox 360 for the whole generation, and then they handed it over to the TV and entertainment box guys, and they just gutted the whole thing. And then they bought all these other developers over the course of the last 6 years, and you're sort of waiting for them to get all that stuff done, wait all that stuff out, and instead we're just sort of seeing them like kind of slowly collapse like a flan in a cupboard, as Eddie Izzard would say. You've got billions and billions on AI, constant layoffs, the dissolution of companies that they just bought and haven't even had a chance to put anything out under their Microsoft ownership period. If it wasn't for Obsidian delivering twice this year, I would be basically wondering if we're gonna have anything of note from Microsoft developers. I mean, they're putting stuff out, but it just seems like the whole thing is in chaos. Like, how did this happen?
It is in chaos.
I don't understand how you get here from it seemed like they had a plan.
It seemed like spending $69 billion should have answered questions instead of creating new questions. Mm-hmm. I hear you. I mean, again, I called for Phil Spencer's head for like a decade straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought he should have been fired. And then they announced Game Pass, and I'm like, that actually makes sense. Like, that might work. And now here we are years later, and it's actually kind of not working.
And to be clear, I don't know where all these things are coming to. A lot of this might be coming from higher up than Phil Spencer. Like,
My guess is they are.
That's why I say Microsoft, not Xbox,
Yeah.
because I think this is a, mother company problem. I think this is coming from the home office of Wayland Yutani here.
Yeah.
This is not something that the captain is sending out.
Yeah.
It just, and a lot of it's to justify the obscene amount of money they've spent on AI.
Yeah.
And that's going to be shoved into everything. I think we're going to see that, we're going to see that with Ubisoft as well. I'm very curious how that Assassin's Creed...
I'm betting people right now are sitting there thinking, Shane's going to pick AI.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you are.
Well, you know what? You don't. Well, you can look at the rundown. Oh, it's
Not
not
on
on
the
your
rundown.
rundown. You don't know. Yeah, but I bet right now people think that I'm going to pick AI.
I'm very worried that the Black Flag remaster is going to be basically like an AI fest. But,
It might be.
but I digress. But basically I just think Microsoft I think had itself set up for a really solid like gambit.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's blown it completely.
Blown in his face, it feels like. Yeah.
And it's been bad for them. It's been bad for us. It's been bad for consumers. It's been. I don't feel like anyone's coming out of this a winner except maybe Nintendo.
Because you're right, it is bad for us. Because people aren't that interested in watching people talk about a game when they know they can just go and download it. So it definitely takes value out of critics. It saps some value.
If they're
out of
even
being
interested in downloading.
Right. Yeah.
And man, I have lost a lot of confidence in Fable. Like, I really don't know what that's going to be at this point, and I hope it's something.
I'm hopeful, but it's been in development a long time.
And you're just looking at like, what do you do? Like, we are being nebulous about what Fallout's future is going to be. Like, Elder Scrolls is probably next generation.
Yeah.
Like where is everything? Like, again, like I hope everyone at Obsidian is getting some real nice Christmas bonuses.
Yeah.
Because they are keeping that ship afloat.
Well, it's hard to get bonuses when you don't sell your games anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, what metrics do they use for bonuses anymore? Metacritic, I guess. That's all I got. Which also sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
Using Metacritic for bonuses sucks.
Oh, yeah. As people who make Fallout, as Obsidian can tell you.
Perfect example. Yeah. Because they got, like, a 7.9 or something and, like, lost all kinds of money.
It was a 0.1 threshold to get the big, and that's why the big argument with Bethesda happened.
Right.
It's also doubly insane to me that you've got this hit Fallout TV series and there's no fucking video game to support it.
They re-released Fallout 4, Matt. What are you talking about?
But it has nothing to do with that.
Know,
at the very least, you remaster New Vegas because that's where they're taking most of the stuff from this show.
Well, they had to schluff it all into Fallout 76, pretty
Which is
much, which nobody cares about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, I think... I just felt like Microsoft was like poised to sort of like maybe not a comeback. I didn't think it was going to be competitive with Sony and Nintendo, but I thought like it would make a good showing.
Yeah.
And for a while it looked like maybe it was. And just the latter half of this year, I feel like the bottom has just dropped out of it.
Yeah.
And it all feels like unforced errors to me.
Okay. All right. My winner or loser for the Turkey Award for 2025 is not AI. It is in fact Roblox. So, much like Rockstar Games, there are multiple levels at which I despise Roblox. The fundamental level at which I do not like Roblox is that it is poisoning our children's minds with terrible video games. So Pactor looks at Roblox as this thing that teaches kids how to play video games. And he hopes that they'll play this crap and then they will graduate up to the games that we play. That has not been happening.
I don't think that's how that works.
That has not been happening. I believe that it's poisoning the well for these people so that they think this is what video games are. And I don't know if you've ever fiddled around on Roblox, but I have because I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, and every time I'm around them, they're playing it on their iPads. So I've messed around with it. I've watched them play it for hours. These games are trash. They handle like crap. They look like crap. They're just little things to fiddle around with while you chat with other people online. Or there's adults on there trying to rip kids off. When I was at home for Labor Day weekend, my one nephew got ripped off. Like, some guy who he thought was just some kid his age initiated a trade, and somehow the dude glitched the thing out and stole my nephew's thing and never gave him back what he... And my nephew was devastated for 2 days over this. He would not stop talking about how some dude ripped him off. To me, I think Roblox is probably the worst thing for the industry, particularly if you're people like us who want to see big budget single player games to continue and to thrive. To me, Roblox is the antithesis of that and is going to kill that industry. The other thing, too, is that, like, once these kids get hooked into Roblox, they don't play anything else. So we're losing that whole younger generation of people.
It's kind of the TikTok of video games.
Yeah, that used to backfill us as we got older and some of us pass away. We're not being backfilled anymore by the younger generation because they're playing this trash. And then, on a cultural level, let's just talk about how Roblox is a dangerous tool for predators to go after kids. And I'll just be honest with you, I think Roblox has been terrible in handling this. Mm-hmm. They have, like, basically dragged their feet for 3 years, making up excuse after excuse, while the problem was they didn't want to admit there was a problem. Because once you admit there's a problem, then you got to solve it, and your product gets a bad reputation. But everybody else knew there was a problem already, they just wouldn't admit it. So finally, in like the last couple months, Roblox finally is like, okay, we're going to do something about this. We're going to start using facial recognition and AI to determine how old people are, and we're not going to let the older players match up with the younger players.
Because that works so well.
Right, and people got pissed off about that or whatever, but at least Roblox was going to try. Well, then this week, like they're starting to roll this out, so people are doing interviews with Roblox talking to them about it, and the CEO is a complete douchebag. Like, he's basically saying, like, we shouldn't have to do this. Like, this is crazy that we're having to do this. Like, we don't want to do it either. Like, trying to slough it off on, like, all these jerks and these politicians who are trying to protect kids. And that's what really has happened, is that finally the government has went to Roblox and said, look, man, like, you have, like, there's literally, Matt, like 110 million people that play this game a day. That is the data, Matt. It's like 400 million kids a month that play this game. And he's, like, dragging his feet, saying, oh, I don't want to protect, we shouldn't have to protect the kids. What are you talking about, man? I just struggle to find anything good about Roblox other than the fact that it does engender creativity in a very small sliver of our child population. None of my nieces and nephews make anything. They just play what other people make. But
well, that's like 99% of the user base.
Right, yeah. But, so, look, the opportunity is there, though, to be creative and come up with something, and you can make money doing it. So I appreciate that part of Roblox. Pretty much everything else about it, F off. So
you can still do all those things while, running a tighter ship.
Yes, you can. So for me, my Turkey Award for 2025 goes to frickin' Roblox. How do you feel about Roblox, Matt?
I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with it. It seems like slop to me. I don't think any of my friends I don't think my friends' kids or my sister's kids play it. Like, usually my friends are sort of like, oh, you want to play Fortnite or play a Lego game or play, like, they'll put almost anything, especially the people who are tech savvy will put almost anything in their kids' hands other than Roblox. But I'm sure if there's probably some, if they got friends that are all playing Roblox, there's probably some pressure to do that. But I've really not seen much of it. To be fair, a lot of the other games those kids play also looks like trash, but they're not Roblox. They're just like, those shitty little
clickers and all that kind of mobile stuff, and
like things where you just run around with your friends in a city and nothing happens,
and you just talk.
Yeah,
like for a lot of these kids, games aren't games; they're a chat room. Yeah, and even my nieces and nephews, like my nephew was all pissed off, but he was back in there playing Roblox because all his buddies were in there and they're chatting with each other and talking to each other, not doing anything. Their avatars are just standing there still. But that is a big part of it for these kids, is they're just basically glorified chat rooms where they can meet up with their
Discord,
buddies.
kids.
Yeah,
don't talk to weirdos.
Although weirdos get in Discord too. But,
But
anyway, my Turkey Award for 2025 is Roblox. Let's check in with you guys and see if you guys have shared your Turkey Award losers. Erebus says, the other ugly bit, Roblox are making money off of literal child labor. That's true. But also the kids are making money too. Like, there's a couple kids that have become millionaires making content for Roblox.
A couple people who bought Powerball tickets became millionaires too.
That's true. That's true. You're right, though, Erebus. It's like child labor. It probably should be illegal, actually. Next to Twa says, my kids don't play it. Nora tried it and thought it was dumb. You're lucky. Swan Senpai used to do that on 360, just chat while Modern Warfare 3 or something was running. Yeah, I mean, it's not new or anything.
But it's like, that's what we used to do on, like, I was a group that started in a chat room in AOL. And eventually we started playing on. There was a long time where a couple of people were like, well, I'm never playing online games with you weirdos. I don't want to hear what you sound like. But eventually we did it anyway. Phantasy Star Online changed that.
Yeah.
And we would all hang out in the lobbies on the Xbox 360. And
PSO was like that too,
was
though. Like, there was a lot of times where I would just sit there and just send up those stupid little Insta chats.
Yeah. We had one in our group was one younger guy. He joined. He joined. We were all about our age, and then he was younger. He was like 13 when he joined the chat room because he came in because it was 1998 and he was looking for information on when Ocarina of Time came out. And he just stayed with us and was one of our. By the time we're all playing online games, he was like 20.
He's an adult.
Yeah, but he would always do. He was like just very graphic humor and he made up all these like gay pornographic. Animations with the emoji system in Phantasy Star Online. You get with all the shapes and stuff. And so there was
crazy what people did.
You could do incredible stuff.
Yeah, like animations.
So there was a period of time where two things were happening. First, there was an event in Phantasy Star Online that was only on the Japanese servers. So to get the stuff from it, you had to go join a Japanese server and play with people there because it needed 4 players.
Yeah, which was common.
Yeah. So we went there. And the other thing that happened was there were people there was a glitch going around at the time where you could basically, in a lobby, someone could do something and you could lose your whole character. Like
I remember that.
Lock the whole thing.
I remember that. Yep.
So we're trying to do the event. So we went to a Japanese server, which was just, we were like the only English speaking people it was just constant chat, pop, even when people aren't on the screen, you're seeing the chat rooms pop up everywhere. And our kid runs one of his like gay porno butt sex video, like little animations, and all the chat ceases. And every single character in the lobby blinks out of existence in the space of like 2 seconds. And funny. And the one guy, same guy who was in line at Best Buy that night, goes, "Nice work, Magus." I didn't think they'd leave, so we had to go find another Japanese server.
That's funny. That's a good story.
So those are good old days.
So Swan Senpai says, why aren't these parents checking who their kids are talking to? Because, like, I don't know if you have kids or not, Swan Senpai, but I don't either. But I just observe my brothers and sisters with their kids, and it's like, they're talking to my mom or they're talking to me, and their kids are wandering off with their iPad. You can't sit and, like, watch them, like, 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, they used to kick us out of the house and say, "Come back when the sun goes down."
When you get annoying, they're like, "Leave, get out of here." So it sounds like you should be able to do it, but in reality, it's really hard.
Yeah, it's just that the internet exposes you to like multiple times more weirdos and predators than you possibly could find wandering around your neighborhood in a day.
Yep. Khalib Talai says, meanwhile, Larry Summers was asking Epstein for dating advice. Yeah. All that stuff.
I know everybody says it, but you just keep coming back to that Carlin quote. It's a big fucking club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
And like those emails, it's a big fucking club.
Yeah.
And you ain't in it. Like that, I don't know if I've thought that quote more than when I've been looking through those Epstein emails.
Yeah.
They all know each other.
I know.
They all know each other.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
And they all write like morons.
I know. Because they are.
You have $600 million and you don't know that you don't put a space before a fucking comma? Are you out of your...
It drives me crazy.
What is wrong with these people?
It's really insane how stupid people get rich. It really is. It happens all the time. Vincent says, because a lot of the time the government does something under the guise of protecting kids, it's awful. You're right. Like, usually it does a terrible job of it. Like, it really is crazy.
Although it is,
Roblox, Khalid Twilight says Roblox has actually banned people who were hunting predators on the platform. They banned the vigilantes.
Yeah, you're not allowed to ask someone to have a seat over there on Roblox.
Oh, Mike's Q went and got that data for us over on YouTube. Average U.S. spending per gamer is $325. In EU, it's $125 annually. So yeah, U.S. per capita is the bigger country for
that's why they cater to the U.S. And
thank you, Mike's Q. Appreciate you getting
over the EU, I guess.
Yeah. Mike's Q says, my kids only get to walk away and hide with a DS Lite. Fair enough. All right, well, there you go. Those are our Turkey Awards for 2025. Always a fun segment. And look, we get a little fired up when we talk about this stuff, but it's all mostly in good fun. Even Rockstar Games, obviously I appreciate the fact that it is making one of probably the best video games that I will have played in the last 5 years. But that doesn't mean that they're perfect. So anyway.
I'll believe that when it's in my hands.
Yeah.
We don't even know anything about that game as a game. It might just be GTA 5 again.
I mean, I've watched the trailers so much at this point because we only have 2 and we talk about it all the time, and so I have to put it in factor all the time. I mean, I do think that the game is going to be like San Andreas. Like, all the stuff that they show you, they're showing it to you for a reason. Like him weightlifting
to get you to buy it
on the beach and all that stuff.
I don't believe that for sure.
You really don't think you're going to... If you look at the screenshots, his body is 20 different shapes in the trailers and the screenshots. He definitely changes. Like... somehow, some way. Whether it's lifting weights or eating or whatever, I don't know. But his body definitely changes, like big time. So we'll see what causes that. But I think some of those elements that we've been missing from Grand Theft Auto for the last couple entries, I think we're going to start seeing some of that.
21 years?
I know. I think we're going to start seeing some of that stuff trickling back in with GTA 6.
That'd be nice. It's just too bad it's in Florida.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
I will say, every time I watch that footage when you put it up, I'm always amazed at how much having sweat on the characters matters.
Yeah.
How real they look when that one like security guy or something, the balding security guy, he's got sweat on his forehead and he's looking up at her. Like, it looks like a real person because he's sweat. It's a remarkable technical achievement. I just hope the game backs it up.
Also, like the kinematics, is that the right word for the muscles? Like how the muscle on the frame
works
shifts
under the skin.
Like if you watch her, she does that spin move, like her butt, like whap. And then like there's another shot where like somebody does something, you see like the arm underneath move, like that's all stuff you don't see in other games.
No.
Like,
and you see like all that stuff also moves the fabric of the clothing on top of his.
Is it worth 13 years of development? We'll find out.
Probably
but
not.
There's no other games doing that stuff, that's for sure.
I mean,
maybe for a reason.
If you can sell it reliably for the next 10 years, like GTA 5, probably.
Yeah.
But like, no one else should take that as a target.
That'd be a big mistake. A big, big mistake. All right.
Like, no one else is making Blue Cat CG movies either. Like, I mean, I know Avatar makes billions of dollars, but no one else is trying that, you notice? Don't take James Cameron or Rockstar Games as your model.
No.
Because they're a singular phenomenon.
They're the only ones that can do it.
Yeah, you cannot emulate those two things. Just don't try.
Yep. All right, there you go. That's our Turkey Awards for 2025. Next up, we're going to review the biggest game release of the week. And we are getting towards December here, so we're starting to run out of games. But the good news is we're also starting to run out of episodes of GameFace. So we still have Metroid Prime 4 and a couple other big games. But this was definitely one of the final big games of the year.
Metroid is going to be an interesting one because it's going to determine the Fantasy League.
It will, yeah.
So you saw the previews with the annoying comedy sidekick guy, right?
I kind of talked about that when I saw the trailers. I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah,
like,
who are these people?
Seriously, I'm like, I don't want these people around.
But now that we've heard that, oh my god, oh my god.
I mean, I think it's ridiculous how like IGN previewed it, and IGN's editor railed on it for like 3 minutes in the preview, and now everybody just agrees with the IGN editor. Like, I thought that was a little weird.
I mean, I didn't hear that. I just saw the raw footage, and I thought it's
not
awful.
good. Yeah.
So I will. Okay. But
IGN was like, it's a fatal flaw that ruins the whole game.
No, it's not. It's gonna get 80s. It doesn't 85 or something. It doesn't. It's not gonna matter.
I thought he was jumping the gun a little. From someone from IGN, I thought they show a little bit more restraint in a preview. But anyway,
who cares what the fuck IGN does? I will say that. So I'll make you because I think I'm probably gonna just by default because it's a Nintendo game and being reviewed isn't it? I will lose. I'll make you a bet. If that character, when Ridley shows up, if that character says, a space dragon, a dragon in space, that's a thing, I get 10 bonus points on the Fantasy League. That exact phrase.
Word for word.
Because he's a fucking MCU character. Like,
he is kind of, yeah.
It's just like a guy, it's like, oh, we roll into a ball. Oh, I need a ball. I want to be a ball. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to make it through the fucking tutorial of this game.
It's annoying.
That is the last thing I wanted. I will have 5 motorcycles before I take this fucker.
That's funny.
Anyway, Kirby's Air Riders.
Yeah, we're talking about Kirby Air Riders, which is a Switch 2 exclusive racing game. A lot of people have kind of turned their nose up at this because it's coming hot on the heels of another Switch 2 exclusive racing game, Mario Kart World.
It's also, a follow-up to one of the worst GameCube games. So, Kirby's Air Riders has been a punchline for 20-plus years. It's crazy they made another one of these.
The original came out in 2003.
It's crazy they made another one of these. And that they, deluxeified it so hard. Like, Sakurai's just like, I'm going to make a game that I will be proud of if I die the next morning. Like, it's just like it was like this was the last thing he was able to do on Earth.
Yeah.
And he put every single thing he had in this thing.
He really did. Like, this is a full featured game. This isn't some crappy little thing that has like 2 modes and like you play it for a day.
This is not the Kirby game that comes out every couple of years.
It's not one of the Kirby games.
Yeah.
This is actually like, they put a lot of resources into this, believe it or not.
This is Kirby the game.
Yeah. And so I guess the first thing I would say is that, people are like, oh, but there's already Mario Kart World. Why would you put this out? This is a racing game, but it's kind of not. For example, when you start each race in this, it goes 3, 2, 1, stunt. Instead of going 3, 2, 1, race. So they're sending that message to the player right away, like, yeah, you need to cross the finish line first. But there's a lot of X factors that go between starting the race and finishing the race, and that is absolutely true.
It's called Kirby's Air Rider, not Kirby's Racing.
Yeah, it is. And
ride the air.
I'll get into it. You do end up riding the air, and in some ways it ends up breaking the game in some ways, but I'll get to that. So first of all, like I said, this is not just some like flimsy thing that has like one option that you play through in multiplayer or whatever. There are 4 main modes in this. The one that I think everybody will play first, the one that's highlighted right there, is a mode called Road Trip. I think it's probably the single-player mode most people will play. The other thing I should say about this is made by the guy who made Smash Brothers. If you can't tell that by looking at the UI of this game, I don't know what to tell you, because it's pretty much straight up ripped out of Smash Brothers. And the game itself also has a similar vibe to it. Just this, like, kitchen sink approach where there's just so much stuff jammed in there. As you start going through the menus, you're like, oh my god, what? Like, oh my gosh. And to your point, Matt, for a game where the original was just universally panned and generally hated, it's insane that they put so much effort into that they put so much effort into this game, and they have. So the primary mode that I think everybody's going to play is called...
I love that every Kirby game has some kind of cosmic, like, catastrophe. Like, it's like star systems die in these games.
However, if someone touched them and shared their will...
Yeah, and no one really gives them credit for the amount of cosmic horror that exists in these games.
Well, these stories are just so stupid. They're just like, they're almost offensively stupid.
But you just cut from an entire star system dying to a hamster on a flying like rocket star. It's like it's an amazing like frisson.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, what you're seeing right now is Road Trip. It is the primary single player mode, and as you can see, it has elaborate CG cinematics that move a very weird and strange story forward that I just kind of checked out of after a couple hours. But the way this mode works is you're literally on a road trip. You're driving down a road, and it's like a 3-lane road. And as you go down the road, you'll come up on roadblocks, so to speak, and there's a different option in each of the 3 lanes. And you can choose which of the 3 you want to take. It could be anything that's in the game. It could be just a straight-up race. It could be a smash-up derby. It could be a drag race. It could be one of the crazy flying objectives or whatever. It can be anything in the game. It does an excellent job of letting you sample the entire game while playing through this mode, and sampling it how you want to. Again, you get to choose every time from 3 different objectives, and sometimes it's like 3 different power-ups. You can increase like your grip, or you can increase your top speed or whatever. But as far as like once you get up to like the actual missions, like you can see here, basically I have 3 races to choose from. Usually you have 3 different things to choose from. In this case, it was just 3 different races. So you join the race. Usually they're pretty short. They last like a minute or a minute and a half. They take you back to that screen. And then you keep driving, and you get 3 more options. And you keep doing that until eventually you get to a boss fight. After you complete each of the races on your way, on your road trip, you also get to power up your machine. And that's what the vehicles are called in this. They're called machines. And so in between each race that you win, you can power it up. You can increase its grip, its top speed. I think there's 10 different categories that the machines are rated in. And you can increase those. And what that does is it helps you build your machine to prepare you for the boss fight to come. Now, the game doesn't do a good job of sort of telegraphing what you're going to need or you're going to need to do. So there's a lot of times where you build machines in this and it falls flat on its face. It doesn't actually work for the event that you're trying to. But what I would just say in general, when you're playing every mode in this game, try to build a machine that is strong in every category, because you just never know. Sometimes doing that could put you behind the 8 ball. Sometimes it makes the race easy. But in general, everything in this game is way too freaking easy. So there's 3 difficulty settings. There's like easy, normal, and hard, set it on hard. And I would even recommend after you set it on hard, you can go in and in a lot of events in this game, you can set the individual AI settings for each CPU racer. Like, that's the level of detail that they have put into this game. And half of my time playing this game was like, why did they go so far with this game? It's like...
I mean, that's the level of detail in Smash Brothers Ultimate.
It is. And that's why this has this Smash Brothers aesthetic. So, anyway, that's what Road Trip is. You just keep going, you build up your machine, you get to the end, you fight a boss at the end, and then you start on a whole new road trip. And each road trip lasts 3 hours, roughly, like something like that. And then you go to a new environment and start your road trip in that new environment. The mode that you're seeing right now was in the original game. It is called Top Ride, and it is just a top-down version of...
Called Super Sprint is what it's called.
Pretty much. But it chops out a lot of stuff. Like, there's no verticality in that mode. It chops out a lot of the power-ups and the inhaling, because that's the other thing that's different about this game versus, say, Mario Kart World. You don't just drive across power-ups and get them. You actually have to drive past them and inhale them. And that's what gives you your special abilities in this game. They're not just things that you pick up or whatever. So that makes it a little bit different. It took me a while to remember, like, oh, I have to inhale things to get them. But the game is so slow if you're not powered up. Like, look how slow this is. It's so slow when you're not powered up.
Now you're Rambo, so it's okay.
Yeah. It's so slow when you're not powered up that it reminds you, oh, yeah, I need to be inhaling stuff here. Like, that's the only way I'm going to get faster.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah. Call those college days, man. So anyway, Road Trip is a pretty good mode. That's the one I think most people will spend the majority of their time on. There's also a thing called City Trial, which was also in the first game. By the way, the only mode in this that is new to this is Road Trip. All the other modes in this, in some form or another, were in the prior game from 2003. So this is the point I was talking about, where you complete an objective, and then you come to this screen. You get to choose how you want to upgrade your machine, go on, compete the next race. Here you can see it just gives you a brand new machine to use. One thing I will say about this, though, is like, once you select your character for this, you can't change it. You have to. So I chose Kirby. I had to play with Kirby the whole way through. You can't change it. You can change your machines between events, and as you saw there, I just got a new one.
What other characters would you be like? So is it just like
King
Dedede and like a bunch of like enemies, or
pretty much like?
I admit I do not know the Kirby cast,
and I don't either, honestly. But as I played this, I started to be like, oh yeah, oh okay, I remember this. But you're right; they're all like these little bit characters that most people probably will never remember.
Like I recognize the Waddle Dee, and I recognize the little mushroom thing, and but it's like because I've eaten them before. I don't know who these people are. Like I don't know who that guy who kind of looks like Cloud. Is that Lolo?
Yeah.
Lolo and Lala?
Yeah.
I know them.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so they've done some stuff like that, like some deep cuts where you're like, oh, I forgot about these characters, but here they are in this weird Kirby racing game. But here you can see this is another one of the mission types. This is just a big smash-up derby where you just destroy as many other vehicle or other machines as you can within a time limit. They do a really good job of mixing up all the different event types in this. There is way more than I ever thought there would be. There's single races, there's oval tracks, there's drag races, there's this theme called a beam gauntlet where you fall down through these laser beams, kind of like Mission Impossible. There's another one called Dust Up Derby where you just basically smash each other up. There are skydives where you have to fall down through kind of like the laser things I was talking about earlier. What else?
This is not a game to play with a migraine.
No,
that's for certain.
It's really fast. Yeah, and there's another race called Gourmet Races where there's just food on the track, and you have to collect more food than the other players. Like,
I mean, Kirby's always believed in eating.
Yeah, that's true. So they do a really good job of finding all kinds of different permutations and combinations to keep things fresh. And the reason that Road Trip is so good is because you get to try it all. And you get to choose. It's like if you find something that you don't like, let's say you don't like the gourmet races, you're like, that's really stupid, picking up food off of the track. You don't have to. If you come up to them, you can just decide to choose something else. And then here you can see this is the first boss fight when you're at the end of the first mission. And now that switches over to the other mode I was just talking about called City Trial. And again, this mode was in the prior game, which is actually kind of surprising. It really was kind of ahead of its time. And basically how it works is everybody goes to this small open world-ish area that's just littered with power-ups that you can inhale. And what you want to do is you want to build your machine with a bunch of power-ups and things before the timer expires. Once the timer expires, everybody gets to vote on a big event that you compete in. And hopefully, during the amount of time you had to drive around and pick up stuff, you built a pretty good build that is versatile, that will help you succeed in whatever mission everybody ends up selecting. You get to vote on it. Now, in the middle there, some impromptu events will pop up just out of nowhere. And again, they are one of the several types of events that I mentioned earlier. And again, you don't know what those are going to be either. While you're out in this area, though, you can attack other players and you can steal their items from them. You can also destroy their machine altogether. You can knock them off their machine and steal their machine. So if somebody has built up a really good build and you want it, you can just go after that person and attack them and take their machine if you want to. So you do this. You're in this open world, you're driving around, you're picking stuff up, you're fighting other players, blah, blah, blah. And you can see at the top there's that timer counting down. Once that 5-minute timer hits 0, then you actually go and compete in an event, in like a big event. Actually, some of them are kind of short. It is kind of funny how you spend 5 minutes building your machine, and then some of the events last like 45 seconds. There's also certain situations where you are...
ask an Olympic athlete about that.
Yeah. There are also certain situations where you are exempted from the event, and you get rewarded anyway. Like, you go through the 5-minute period of building your machine, everybody chooses what they want, and I'm not sure what the conditions are, but there was a couple times where I just immediately went to the victory screen and got rewards. I'm not sure how that happened or why it happened, but I know it happened. And so anyway, this is City Trial. It does get kind of hectic. Like right now, this is just CPU guys in this B-roll. But eventually, you're doing this with all other human players. And it is just complete mayhem. It's just a big smash-up derby, basically. And like I said, missions will pop up. Like they'll say, get the key and take it to the chest. And everybody races to get this key. And everybody races to get the key to the chest. And those pop up in the middle. And then at the end, ultimately, when the timer expires, you enter the big event.
Yes. Obviously, the best thing to do when your car is about to break down is to eat something.
Yeah. Yeah. This game is so fast, though. Like, the frame rates never falter. It is just blazing fast. This, in particular, it's almost too hectic. It's just insane. There's just so many people driving around.
Why in the world would you play Roblox?
What'd you say?
Why would you play Roblox
when you can play
this? Is here.
Seriously. So anyway, I kind of enjoyed this. Again, this is a mode that was in the first game, which for 2003, that's pretty impressive. Because this is basically just like a pre-lobby for like Fortnite or whatever, really.
I mean, I imagine it was an evolution of the Mario Kart battle thing.
Probably.
But, Sakurai always does like the push stuff. So here we are.
So you can see everybody voted on the skydive option at the end of the time period, and now we're all going to compete in the skydive.
Which is great for someone who has put all their points into defense.
Right.
And wait.
No, you're right, though. Seriously, though, like, you can get screwed like that in this game. That's why I recommend trying to make sure that every build that you have in this game is versatile and kind of just dead even across the board if you can. It's impossible to do that, really. You're going to have a couple categories that are either higher or lower than the others, but try to get them in the middle just so you give yourself a fighting chance when you go to the actual events. So you can see, we raced around for 5 minutes mashing each other, and then the event lasted like 40 seconds. So it's a little weird in that way. So anyway, that's City Trial. I already talked to you guys about the top-down mode. And then the other option is called Air Ride. And that's basically where you can just pick your machine, your driver, pick any track, and just go race. And the other thing I should add is that pretty much everything in this game can be played solo or it can be played online, either ranked or unranked. There's also like this lobby that you can go to called like the Paddock, where you can just chill out. So to your point, Matt, the kids will love that. You can just go into this lobby, you can sit there, you can chat, whatever, and then you can launch races from there as well. And so I think that's probably something that they created to target the younger audiences who kind of use games as a glorified chat interface. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the game is packed. It is fun to play. As far as actually playing the game, there is no gas button in this. The vehicles just go automatically. And in fact, there's really only 2 buttons that you use. You have one button that doubles as a brake/turbo. So when you hit it, you basically slow down and stop. And then you can rotate on an axis and then boost in whatever direction you want to. So it's kind of like power sliding, but it's not, because you kind of stall a little bit before you take off. And that's pretty much the only buttons in the game, because that boost button also doubles as like your attack and your special button, which can get a little annoying. I feel like they could have definitely added a button or two and made it more palatable to more experienced players. But this is a Kirby game, so I understand why they would design it for younger audiences and make it that simple. It is that simple. And the other thing I would say, too, the game kind of plays itself a lot. You lose speed a little bit if you hit the guardrails, but not very much. Like, it's almost impossible to not hit the guardrails in this. It's so fast, and most of the machines do not turn tight enough, so you end up riding the rails a lot in this, and you still win. Like, I don't know. I felt like my skill at this didn't matter that much. Like, I just won every race in a landslide, pretty much, unless there was some little quirk about it that I needed to figure out. Like, drag races are a little weird. Like, you really have to make sure that you have a good build for those with a good top speed, or you just won't win. But otherwise, like, you can just kind of go in and wing it, and even race pretty crappy and just ride along the rails like you're seeing in this footage, and still win easily. So it is definitely targeted, I think, towards a younger audience. I would argue that Smash Brothers, it does a little bit of a better job being fun for both adults and kids than this does. But this game is fun, and it is loaded with content.
As long as you don't go to the tournaments.
What do you say?
As long as you don't go to the Smash Brothers tournaments.
Right, yeah. And I would argue, too, that there is some replay value in this, aside from just playing multiplayer. Like in the road trip mode, obviously there's replay value because you're choosing a different option every single time out of 3. And there's branching paths in that as well. So, like, one of the things about the road trip mode is that you will find creatures on the road as you're driving. And if you pick them up, that determines how the path branches. So if you pick up, like, a character that can use fire, once you finish that stage, that character will go to, like, the snow stage and melt it down to let you pass through. And that determines how you go through sort of the ladder of races. So it can be different every single time. So there is replay value in this beyond just racing multiplayer. And I should add that Sakurai has already said there will be no updates to this. There will be no DLC. They will fix bugs as needed, but they're not adding any content to it. No racers, no tracks, no anything. So when this is done, and it is done. But to be fair, they have added a ton of content in this. So I would say it may be a mistake that Nintendo put this out so close to Mario Kart World. Once you play it, you realize that they're entirely different games. But I think for the average person who just watches a trailer or just looks at these games, they're like, well, it's another kart racer. Like, I just got one, and it's Mario Kart, and Mario Kart's the best. Why would I buy a Kirby kart racer? They are really different games. But I think that's going to be a tough sell for Nintendo, and it probably would have been smarter to just push it to next year when there wouldn't have been as much confusion, and maybe people have burned out on Mario Kart World at that point and are more willing to buy it. I fully expect this game to tank hard. What do you think, Matt? You think anyone's going to buy this?
I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, people were not super thrilled by Mario Kart. There's not a whole lot else to buy for the Switch for Christmas.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Well, I mean, I would argue Switch 2 actually has done pretty well. It's only been on the market about 6 months.
Right, but in terms of a big flagship game, like, this is about it.
Metroid. But that's coming in late.
Metroid is a stretch for a flagship game.
Most people buy their big gifts in November as well.
Metroid sells 2 million copies.
It does, yeah. It's not a big seller. Here's something cool, though. Remember that from the 3DS days?
Oh, yeah. The
little puzzles there?
Yeah, it reminded me of the Street Pass stuff.
Right there, yeah. And this game has one of these for, like, every mode. So as you finish, you get... The other thing I will say, too, progression in this is great. Like, every race you finish, you get a ton of rewards. You get new characters, you get new machines, you get new cosmetics. This game also is great with the cosmetics. Like, there's so many opportunities to customize your vehicles and tweak your machines and your characters.
Francis.
Yeah.
Who could forget Francis?
And this is online play here. I just wanted to show you guys how it works and how many people are in each race. I mean, that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm
impressed that everybody's a different character.
Yeah, it's hard to believe with a Kirby game like this that would be the case. But I had a good time with this. I would really struggle to tell most people to buy this, particularly if somebody's already bought Mario Kart World. I would say that this was probably better than I thought it was going to be. But still, as a full-price game, I think it's hard to recommend. I will say that they probably don't need to make another one of these.
It feels like Sakurai would agree with you.
I think they've squeezed it pretty much dry. And just the fact that most of the modes in this were hangovers from the first game, which, again, to your point, Matt, was not very well received. We've talked about this before, but it does feel like this was a make good for Sakurai to maybe keep him around to do some other stuff on Switch 2 that might be much more lucrative, like another Smash Brothers maybe. But my big complaints about this really is that it's just way too easy. That's my biggest complaint. It's just way too easy to play. You can go in and crank up the CPU difficulty. That's a pain in the ass that nobody wants to do. Like, just balance the game. So if I play it on hard, it's actually hard for an adult who's pretty good at video games. And don't discount your younger players either. Your younger players are good at games too. Like, it's almost offensive how easy this game is, honestly. Like, even on its hard difficulty setting, like, it just did not present much of a challenge. So that's one of my big complaints, but on the other hand, you're always unlocking something in this. Like, the progression in it is great. You never feel like you've wasted any time doing something in this. You always get something worthwhile when you complete a lap or a mission or whatever. So in that sense, I think it's pretty good. I think this is probably one of those games where the people who get into it will sing its praises for like the next 20, 30 years, and everybody else will just look at it and reject it or just bounce off of it really quickly. Mm-hmm. So I do think there will be sort of a cult around this game that for the next 20 years will try to tell you in forums and on Discord that it's this underappreciated gem.
I mean, the first one has that.
Does it?
Yeah. Not as widespread as maybe this might get.
Yeah.
But, like, I definitely know a couple of people who evangelize about Kirby's Air Riders to the point that I was like, man, shut up.
I don't know about that. So anyway, I did have fun with it, but look, Nintendo sent me a code for free. And it's easy to have fun with something when you don't have to pay for it. And
yeah, I did not play this. I will not pay $60 for this game.
Yeah, this is probably, even though a lot of work has gone into it, and I'm sure Sakurai would be like, this is worth $90. It probably is worth like $40, I think. Mm-hmm. I think if you really want to move a bunch of units of this, that's probably the good price point for it.
Should this ever go on like some kind of sale, I might pick it. I mean, it looks very charming.
It's better than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
I'm sure.
Like, I thought I'd play it for a couple hours and be like, I'm offended. This is for like 3-year-olds or whatever. Like, there is definitely hidden depth in there. Like, once you start getting a handle on the controls, you start to understand the nuance of it. But again, you have to stick with it for a while, and I do think a lot of people may play this for a couple hours and just kind of like be like, it's a little too Dayglow for me. So, there you go. That's Kirby Air Riders. Let's check in with you guys and see if any of you guys have been playing this and see what your impressions of it are. Scroll down here. Cinetech, my turkey goes to tariffs and tariff roller coaster chaos. Fair enough. Mice Q says we should have went back and checked on these. Mice Q says Nintendo and Sony are my turkeys for not having anything the whole year that would convince me to turn their consoles on. That might be a little extreme, but I understand where you're coming from. Erebus Jones, those rich idiots are mostly born rich. That's a secret. That is true.
That's true.
Yeah. Noxatornitis, thank you for Twitch Prime. And I realize I mispronounce your name every single time, but I've just settled on it, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Noxatornitis.
It's too much. IGN, worst game of all time.
Warhammer
8 out of 10.
is too much.
I will say that I think the reviews for this game are a little too high. I think the Metacritic is too high.
I think that's a reference to the Metroid conversation.
Yeah, I know. But
I didn't see what the reviews for this were.
They're like 8, 9. Yeah.
See, that's what Metroid's going to get that, whether it deserves it or not.
IGN's review gushed all over this game like it's game of the year. I was like, what? After playing it, I was definitely like, what? But I think it is better than probably most of you guys suspect, just by checking out trailers and stuff like that. Vincent says, even if you don't count Forgotten Land, they just remastered Return to Dreamland a year or two ago, and Star Allies came out around the launch of Switch. Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of Kirby games.
Yeah, Kirby is everywhere.
That's why we go Kirby game, Kirby game, Kirby game, Zelda game, Kirby game, Kirby game, Kirby game, Mario game. That's pretty much the cadence for Nintendo. Mix in some Yoshi in there somewhere. Let's see. This is a headache game, Swan Senpai said. Vincent thinks there are tons of characters. Yep.
There are. I don't know who any of these people are. I mean, like 4 of them.
Vincent says, that's because you were the only person who chose that event. Okay. Interesting. So if you are an anomaly, they just let you win. That's crazy. I couldn't figure out what the common denominator was, because it only happened for me like twice or whatever. And I could never like lock down what happened both those times that would cause it. So thank you. What else we got here? How often are there epilepsy warnings? Wow. I guess this game made an impact with people watching the B-roll for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
is very hectic.
Is a thing.
It is, yeah. It's just colors
you won't
just going.
Confuse it for anything else.
Seriously. It is pretty crazy. There's no doubt about it. But I will say this, like, as you play it, you kind of become numb to it. Your brain catches up with the speed or whatever, and it doesn't seem that way. But I can understand, like, just watching that B-roll, you're like, oh my gosh, this is like Dayglow Smear.
Just like Speed Racer.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Yeah, yeah.
The live-action Speed Racer. Which is a great movie.
Yeah. City Trial was ahead of its time in terms of structure. It really was, Vincent. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, I'm surprised that that's from 2003. Because that's really what these games are doing now, is creating what City Trial does. Hey, here's this big open area. Y'all can fiddle around with all the stuff and like talk to people and do your emotes and everything. That was from 2003. So it was ahead of its time. Now it's just kind of part and parcel.
San Francisco Rush kind of did that in the stunt mode.
That's right.
Back in like 98.
The other thing I forgot to mention, actually, with the gameplay, is that sometimes your specials kind of break things. Like a lot of the specials you saw were just attacks, like Kirby does that crazy like rainbow slash or whatever. But like I got a couple of them where I flew, I don't know, 400 yards.
Meta Knight seems to have, as always, Meta Knight is broken.
Yeah,
it seems.
And it's like I looked down on the track, I could see the end of the track. So I was like, screw all these turns, I'm just going to fly straight over there. And I pretty much did. And just landed right at the finish line. It was like, what the hell? Like, there's stuff like that in this game where I think maybe they left it in there on purpose because they're like, this is kind of fun. But again, competitively, it kind of breaks stuff.
I don't think anyone's playing this competitively, really.
I mean, there's tons of online options. I mean, and there's tons of people playing. Like, you saw there's 15 people in each race.
Yeah, I didn't mean everybody.
It took like 30 seconds to get 15 people.
Doesn't mean everybody expects to win. Like,
that's true.
People just playing to play.
Well, you're right. Like I said, they don't say 3, 2, 1 race.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a different aesthetic there going forward with this game, and I do.
And it looks like you're still being rewarded one way or the other.
Yeah, you do. You still unlock stuff, and you still get cosmetics and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the stronger parts of the game. You're constantly getting the Skinner box, the feedback for doing stuff, and it motivates you to keep playing. So I think they did a good job with that. And that also is something that was really good in Smash Brothers, which isn't a great single-player game, but the way that they structure a lot of the single-player modes in there, it convinced me to play them a lot longer than I really wanted to, and that's kind of the same deal here. Anything over on YouTube? The Amazing Vector says at least you have the choice in Kirby. That's true. All right. Well, there you go. That's Kirby Air Riders, a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. I really struggle to recommend most people buy this at full price. I think the sweet spot is probably about $40. If you ever see it for that, pick it up, but I don't think you're going to see that for a long time. Probably for another like 3 years or something like that. Or maybe if it really bombs, like next holiday season, you may get it for like for $50 or something. So we'll see. But anyway, there you go. That's Kirby Air Riders for Switch 2. All right, next up, we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Xbox 360. Matt, looking back through my career, I think probably the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era was sort of the height of my career as far as like working with other people.
Yeah, it was certainly the center of it.
Yeah, it was kind of the middle. Yeah. And I think probably for you too, for the most part. I look at the Xbox 360 as when the industry entered the modern age. It felt like that's when we got HDMI out ports, we got like Ethernet ports that were just built in. Xbox Live had been a thing for a while. Everybody else was finally starting to jump on the playing online boat.
This is the generation where online came into its own.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been, Sega had been trying, as Sega does.
And did a pretty good job.
Sega always tries early, does a good job, and then someone else is the one that does it, that catches on.
It makes the money, yeah.
Every single time.
Yep.
Online, 3D to some degree, the Virtua stuff.
Analog stick.
CDs.
Yep.
Just goes on and on and on.
Online gameplay, yeah.
Online gameplay, like competitors to Madden. Like it just goes on and on and on.
And all of them.
Yep.
Every single one of them, another company made all the money on the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that probably says a little something about Sega's execution, probably.
Sega's execution, Sega's marketing, and Sega's inability to get EA on board.
Yeah. Back in the day, that was a huge deal.
Yeah,
having or not having Madden on your platform was a gigantic
Yeah, it's hard
deal.
to fathom an era where like which third parties were on your platform really determined your fate.
Right.
It doesn't really work that way anymore.
I mean, Nintendo's kind of been dealing with that forever since the SNES.
And they found look at Jay Allard.
Yep.
Look at that.
Where is he now?
I don't know. He's probably still trying to get Velocity Girl's attention.
Isn't it crazy how there are certain people in our industry that pop up and become like, I mean, he was a luminary for like 4 years, and then he just disappeared. Like, how are you so embedded in gaming that you are the face of the Xbox 360, and 10 years later, you're completely gone?
Because he's just corporate. It's just his job. That's it.
They
were done with it. They positioned him. They gave him a huge makeover.
He was a dude that sat on the edge of the stage with the hoodie and the Nike trainers.
But 2 years before that, he was like 40 pounds overweight. Some like weird programmer with like bad, then he comes out with like the hoodie over with the sport coat over it and a shaved head, and like he's lost like all this weight. He's like, he looks like the hipster dude, the end all hipster dudes. And of course, he was their front man. And then he's gone. That era ended, and they got a new person, and he moved on to something else.
But where did Jay Allard go? Because all the other people end up somewhere else usually.
He did something else.
Did he?
He left. I don't think he's still in the game industry, but he was a tech guy. He wasn't specifically a game guy.
Which is crazy considering he was the face of the Xbox 360. You would think you would put the game guy there because those people can get caught off guard at random casual conversations at the bar.
You put the guy in charge of the machine in there, and that's who he was at the time.
Well, Xbox in the early days, I would argue, didn't make the best decisions of the people who were fronting the business.
Sometimes. There's a lot of mistakes.
Mistakes were made, for sure. But he's
the chief product and technology officer at GoFundMe.
At GoFundMe? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting. Wow, okay.
And he was part of television entertainment for a while.
So he's working with Vic, or not with Vic, with...
No, that was 2020. He wasn't
working on the Amico.
Tallarico claimed he was, but Allard left before that, and so that was actually a legal problem.
Oh, really?
Right? They were claiming people were involved who were not involved.
Interesting.
Go watch that H Bomber guy video. It's
about dirty.
It's the H Bomber guy video about the Roblox oof sound. Not to bring Roblox back into it,
yeah.
But Tommy Tallarico's whole lawsuit, that becomes a 2-hour expose of every lie Tommy Tallarico's ever told, which is basically everything he's ever said.
Including all his reviews.
Amazing.
On
it's
G4.
Amazing. Oh, it's incredible. Well, there's a whole period where they keep talking about that you didn't review Smash Brothers, and I'm like, I watched the Smash Brothers review. Dude. I remember you gave it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, everybody knows that. He tried to weasel out of that and say he didn't review Smash Brothers?
That was his explanation for that.
Wow.
I'm I was there, man. And also, before leaving Microsoft, Jay Allard became a director of The Climb with a Y, CLYMB, a flash sale site featuring outdoor products.
Well, there you go. He has definitely disappeared out of the games industry.
Climb raised $2 million from a handful of angel investors, including Allard, and was sold to Left Lane Sports in 2016. Then he went over to television, and the last thing I have is that in July 2022, he joined GoFundMe as Chief Product and Technology Officer.
Wow. There you go. Jay Allard.
Overseeing engineer. He was always an engineer. He was a tech guy. Mm-hmm. He was always a tech guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of was the right person for that moment.
People resonated with him. People liked him. Yeah, so they chose him well. But
and especially because it was that era where you had to have someone who could stand up there on a live stage and present things. And Microsoft has... Maybe had is the more appropriate word now because that's not really a thing anymore. But remember, Microsoft's on-stage presentation tradition comes from Steve Ballmer.
Yeah.
The crazy man sweating through 4 layers of clothing, screaming, developers, 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 developers.
Yeah.
And coming out to Gloria Stefan's Get On Your Feet. Look up some old Steve Ballmer video. It's crazy. It's amazing. Crazy. And remember, he's doing it in front of Microsoft software engineers and trying to get them to basically dance. And he did. He they loved him.
We are friends with the CEO of the LA Clippers. And so we actually, oddly enough, we kind of know Steve Ballmer.
Ballmer is a trip.
We don't know him, but we've hung out with him. Literally, talked to him, hung out with him 3 times.
Yeah.
And he is crazy. He has that energy every minute. It's not an act. That is just
he's
who
got
he is.
He's got a wild
He's
energy.
Infectious.
Yeah.
Being around him, you get why he's successful, for sure.
He obviously, this is an inside reference only you will fully get, but he always reminded. I think I met him twice.
Yeah.
In interviews we did. He reminded me of Mark Fahey.
Oh, a good friend of ours. We worked with at G4.
He has that same energy of just
he does.
There's just you never know what's going to happen
or what's going to come out of their mouth.
What's going to come out of his mouth? What's going to?
Yep.
Did you see? This week, this skit came out. This skit went up. I think it was a Japanese comedy thing, but it was inside a keyboard.
No, I didn't see
And it was
that.
the keys being... Everyone was playing a key being pressed. And then over on the side, it was print screen and Homer lounging
Chilling.
in chaise lounges and shit. I was like, that's funny, but also like Mark Fahey for the last like 3 or 4 years of X-Play that he was at.
He wanted to do that.
He wanted to do that inside a controller.
Right.
And it was like a drama inside where everyone was a button and they're all getting pressed. And I'm just like, man, that's Mark's idea. Like that was his idea. And like here, like 20 years, he was 20 years ahead.
Finally,
of the game,
somebody else thought of it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Matt, what do you remember most about Xbox 360? I mean, the other thing we should have mentioned is that it brought HD gaming to us for the first time, 720p. And eventually some 1080p.
Well, I don't know, man. As Sony said, the HD era begins. The next HD era begins when we say it does.
Right. Yeah.
I think the main things I remember about the main things that I remember about the 360. I mean, online play is the biggest.
Yeah.
The ability to just go online seamlessly and be in a lobby with people and talk
Have the
to
friends list
where
and-
everything just worked.
Yeah.
It just worked.
And worked well. Yeah.
You could get into a game together, no problem. Because before that, you're trying to find which lobby you're in on an Unreal Tournament. And you're trying to get that. Like it was a pain. It was you could do it, but it was a pain.
Yeah.
And this just removed the barrier of entry. You know, it began so many good franchises. You had, I mean, the main thing that comes to mind for me is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So
many big
but you had Gears
third-party-
of War.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Halo. Obviously, the Halo 3 launch comes to mind. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Partly because it happened like 3 days after we got back from Tokyo.
Right.
So that was
I think it was one of the biggest launches ever for a game.
yeah. 100%. I think
Halo 3.
to this day.
Yeah,
would
I mean,
say.
it was insane, man. I wish there was still stuff like that, but it's never coming back.
Yeah, it was just a really good time, and it was bizarre because it was like it felt. You know, after the previous generation, the Xbox. I mean, I didn't dislike the original Xbox, but it felt like very much an also ran. Like the comparisons to the 3DO were not like super wrong. And then 360 comes along, and it kind of felt like Microsoft had beaten Sony and Nintendo with their own games.
Yep. The Xbox 360 made it feel like the sky was the limit to me. Because it started look, we had open world games before that, but it was like Rockstar made them. And with the power of this console, finally everybody else was like, we can make open world games too. And finally,
everyone had this.
Yeah.
Everyone I knew had a 360.
Yeah.
Even people you wouldn't suspect.
Or two, because the Red Ring got them. And that's the other thing that I think a lot of people remember the 360
Red
for
Ring.
is Red Ring of Death.
I got mine at the 0 hour launch event.
Yeah,
at the
me too.
At the hangar.
Yeah.
And it lasted until Ninja Gaiden 2.
Mine lasted a good long time. Like other people's had died, and mine was still going.
Yeah,
for a
mine
good bit.
was one of the last at X-Play to die.
Yeah,
as I recall, and
I mean, they put out $2 billion.
Oh yeah,
to
and I mean,
cover that
and
hole.
it took. I mean, I remember like Adam and Morgan getting theirs, like Microsoft making effort to get theirs fixed because they were who they were.
Well, yeah, they're afraid they're going to go on the show.
And it still took them a long time to get. I mean, they would just send replacements, and like I don't know if some of those ever came back.
Yeah, a lot of the debugs were red ringing after a couple of years.
But I was glad that by the we did have debugs re-ring. I was glad that by the time mine died, the Slim was out, and the Slim that's still the one I have to this day is the black Slim.
Me too.
Never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
So I only had to go through.
Well, didn't they give those away? They gave one away at GDC, was it?
Yeah,
one year
they
gave
that.
away the Slim to everybody in their press conference,
Right.
like hundreds of people.
The 1 year we didn't go to GDC.
Yeah, that sucks. But this is I mean, if somebody says what game, when Xbox 360, name a game. This is it. Gears of War is the first game I think of, and I don't know why, but it is. It had like the Unreal shading, and it felt like it was one of the first games that showed what games were going to look like in the future.
Well, and also it is the most brown and gray thing in a field of brown and gray things that was that generation. The that where you couldn't quite do hair, but you sure could do bloom, and that's what you're gonna do.
You're gonna get a lot of bloom.
Everyone's got shaved heads, crew cuts, do rags, and dreadlocks, and that's about it.
No free flowing hair at all. But this is one of the games I think of, and then for whatever reason, Mass Effect is another franchise that I think of big time with the Xbox 360.
Mass Effect was a big deal because they got the whole trilogy on one generation. Remember you could do that?
Think about that, Matt. Think about that. They put out 3 gigantic RPGs in one console generation. That's
5
some
years.
Obsidian level shit.
Space of 5 years.
That's crazy, man.
And the Mass Effect trilogy is probably my favorite game of all time. Like,
really?
Taken as a whole, this is probably number one.
It's your jam.
I think it's probably the greatest thing ever made.
It's a good pick
in the medium.
It's definitely a good pick for sure.
Beyond that, I'd probably say Shadow of the Colossus. If it has to be individual games, I'll put Shadow of the Colossus number 1 and Mass Effect 2 at number 2.
Big John coming in off the top rope with his first ever chat for GameFace, and he says Mass Effect and Uno.
Uno, yeah,
are the 2 games that I most associate with
Uno
Xbox
was a
360.
phenomenon, if only because it was when they put video chat in. Every time you logged into Uno, you're just gonna see some dicks.
Yeah,
you knew that.
Big John, come on back, man. We're here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I thought 1 versus 100 was really fun.
That was what I was gonna say. That's another one that like really resonated with me. There was also there was a quiz game that they sent me that had like these crazy clicker like things.
Yeah, like Quiz Up or something. I have those still, and I don't have the game.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't play it, but I have the crazy peripherals.
Yeah,
but I remember that for some reason.
I imagine you can get that disc for like 50 cents.
50 cents.
At that point. Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Probably not a collector's
Will it still
item.
play? Who knows? I don't know about that. But, I mean, there were so many franchises started with this era. I mean, also, the other thing I remember about the 360 is, like, was the first time I turned up my nose to PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Where I was like, oh, wow, the PlayStation this generation kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And it took the Xbox 360 as a comparison to determine that the PS3 sucked. Developers... Always the games look better for the first 3 years on Xbox 360. Eventually, developers caught up and got pretty good with the PS3, but I mean, the
never
Xbox
quite
360
matched,
was the answer.
And the load times were always worse.
Yeah.
The only third-party game that I know of that runs better on the PS3 is Burnout Paradise.
No, I didn't know.
The sparks are a little more
sparkly,
more sparkly, and I think it runs a little smoother.
Yeah,
that's it. That's everything else is. I mean, especially because like Unreal 3 was basically built to work for this thing. So, and I remember like for a couple of years before any of this happened, like, you know, Cliff would always be at GDC showing off it was all Gears of War stuff, but they hadn't announced that. So it was just like, we're doing a demo of the engine with these incredibly detailed and well fleshed out characters and world, and these monsters that are totally not in a game we're making. It's like, sure, dude. But like you look at the tessellation and how like this all just comes off like the bump mapping and you're just like, is that really going to be able to be done? And again, it's like here Gears of War comes along. And
Xbox 360 was the first time we saw a lot of those effects that we're going to see in games for the next 20 years after that. Mm-hmm. So
and like it broke. I do remember like there was like stuff like that tech that Unreal brought in. Like it was jumping, like it was doing things that like previously, like, you know, 4 years earlier, everyone was saying it was going to take 10 years to get to, or 20 years to get to.
Yeah.
Sort of like I remember the ray tracing, you know, now we got ray tracing. I remember people talking about ray tracing in 1990 when they were doing.
They talked about ray tracing with the GameCube.
Yeah. Well, very specifically, it was the helicopter in Desert Strike was a ray traced model that they then, you know, turned into a sprite in the game, but they used a ray traced 3D model of an Apache helicopter to make that sprite. And a lot of the interviews with them and a lot of the articles about it talked about like one day games will be able to do ray tracing like this model like in real time, but that's like in like 2000, you know, and like
and here we are, it took even 20 some years.
But like all that the hardware the hardware and software tricks that they figured out like jumped everything ahead so far that you really didn't. I mean, it's hard to believe. It's hard to look at Gears of War in 2006 and then, you know, I got this Analogue 3D right here. This is 10 years before that.
Yeah. You can't
even see people's faces on this fucking thing.
Well, then there's
like 6 years earlier.
Yeah, hard drive in a console.
Yeah,
that was the first time for that.
And of course, the blades.
Right, which is still the better interface than what I have now.
And we can't forget the big one, achievements.
All right, yeah, which now nobody seems to care about that much anymore.
Well, yeah, I have a theory on that, and that's why I don't care about them anymore. Is you can't see them anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be the first thing you saw when you looked at anyone's profile is their achievements, what they had, and how to compare them with each other. Yeah. And now you got to dig. I can't even see my own achievements without digging.
I turn them off because I don't want achievements popping up in B-roll. So I don't even see when I get achievements anymore. Sometimes if I have my PC open while I'm playing on my Xbox, I'll hear the achievement pop on my PC in the other room, but I won't hear it on my TV.
I have the I mean, I haven't played the Xbox in forever, but I had the achievement thing turned off on that because it was 4 times louder than the game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, so I have tons of fond memories. Even though with the red ring and everything, I mean...
No, this is absolutely one of my favorite systems of all time.
I seriously think it may be the greatest console of all time.
I think it's in contention.
It's there.
And it depends when you grew up. Like, it's hard for me to discount the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, but I think it's because I was in high school when those were at the height.
I'm a big innovation person, so, I mean, the 360 innovated on so many different fronts that PlayStation was scrambling trying to keep up with it. The other thing that was interesting too was Eurogamer's doing a really good job right now. And again, go on SIFTD, we're curating all this stuff. I don't know why you're not going there already. But Eurogamer is doing a great job on the Xbox 360 20th anniversary stuff. It interviewed Peter Moore. And Peter Moore, it was a great interview. Again, go read it. It's on SIFTD. It's curated
Peter Moore is usually a good interview.
He is, yeah. And he started talking about the time, and he said what happened was they were terrified that PlayStation's whole goal was to take over the living room because the PS3 Fat had all those media card things in there. And they were like, oh my gosh, like they're trying to take everything over. And that
was in fact their goal.
Right. And he says that triggered how they worked on Xbox 360, but more importantly, it ultimately determined the direction of Xbox One. And which was basically the death knell of Xbox.
Well, it's funny because like the Xbox 360 proved that was the wrong way to go.
I know.
Like you won that fight, you won that argument, and then you did the opposite of it. Like and then Sony didn't.
I know.
Like Sony learned from the loss,
your mistake.
And
didn't learn from the win.
Turkey.
It's great. Nutswork says I really love my PS3 though. I didn't. I actually never liked the PS3. I pulled it out to play PlayStation exclusives, and then it sat there, and I never touched it again.
And PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 games, because I have the Fat. Because I remember I didn't buy it at launch. One of the few systems in any of my adult era I didn't buy at launch. And then
$599 US.
$599 US. Ridge Racer. Yeah. I was at that press conference. But I remember it was beginning of December after it had come out that year. Was that 2005?
Yeah.
And or was it 2006?
2005.
Was the same
360
year?
Was 2005.
No, I mean the PS5, PS3.
Yeah, it was the same year.
So it came out, and I didn't bother with it. And then it was early December, and this was when G4 was still over on Olympic and Bundy, and we got word that there were PS3s had just come in at the Best Buy on Pico, and I remember Adam and Morgan and I were like, "Should we?" And I'm like,
"Kind of have to.
Kind of fuck it. Yeah. Like let's go." So we went and got them. And the people at Best Buy knew both of them. They were like, "What the fuck?
What are you doing here?
You're coming to and like Morgan's like, "Yeah, they don't send us personal system. We don't get that." Like, and so we bought the PS3s, and that's still my PS3 to this day. It's
I still have my
first gen Fat. Never got a yellow light of doom.
But I never liked it.
I don't like it, but it plays all. It has the Emotion Engine hardware in it, so it natively plays PS1 and PS2, and that's the best thing about it.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'll never sell my Fat, but I just never built a relationship with it. It was like an inconvenience to me. I was like, I got to pull out the old the clunky ass PS3 again.
And it has those terrible controllers.
Every once in a while, you get like a third
party. And that
party
fucking crossbar menu. Like it's not a good experience.
Every once in a while, you get a third party publisher that would send you review code for
on PS3. On a PS3, yeah.
Because they, for whatever reason, had some crooked ass backdoor deal with PlayStation, and PlayStation's like, you need to start sending out review code on our console. And it sucked. It's like, I got to play on this clunky-ass PS3. I could be playing on my 360. Like, to me, the 360 and the PS3, it wasn't even a conversation.
No. And every once in a while, it'd be like, if you capture... We were always worried that if you capture on the PS3, it might look worse than it did on the 360. And then the publisher would be like, why does it look like that in the review? And we're like, well, you sent us the PS3 version.
Yeah.
Like, but if we had both, we always capture from the 360 version if we could.
I mean, let's be honest. The crappy ports on the PS3 are the reason that we created the graphics comparison video, and is ultimately the reason that Digital Foundry exists. It's the PlayStation 3.
Which is funny because like a bunch of the people I knew who were working on stuff back then would say that you didn't actually do it that way. You would build it, you'd make sure it ran on the PS3, and then you'd work on it on the 360, and then you'd kind of come back and like
Tweet
like you had to make sure it ran on the stupid cell processor before you went too far with the standard architecture over here on the 360. So it wasn't just like we're gonna make a PC 360 game and then we're just gonna port it over the PS. That's what everyone seemed to think they were doing, but it's not. They were working very hard to keep parity, and it was just borderline impossible because of the architecture of that machine.
Yeah,
and it was. I mean, that's just
PS3 far and away Sony's worst console.
Yeah,
far and away,
100%. And there's still some great games on it.
Yeah,
like there's still a bunch
the
of
first
stuff.
party stuff is great.
I wish they would rescue all those. The Infamouses, the first two Infamouses, the Resistances,
That's why they don't make proprietary hardware anymore.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like it's all trapped on it. And again, Metal Gear Solid 4. Like, I mean, I know some people hate that, some people love it. I actually like that one quite a bit.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's cool.
fine.
Like, I get it. You're disappointed that the lore didn't. I'm like, but also, like, some of us already knew the lore was bullshit from the beginning, so we don't really care. I just like that the two Metal Gears get to crash into each other in Chapter 4. But it's like, I don't know. That whole generation was so fascinating.
It really was. Yep. Well, let's check in with you guys and see what your memories are.
And then Nintendo's over here, like, Nintendo's over here, like, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to have a sandwich.
That's true.
Like, all right.
Yep. Amazing Vector says, amazing console, but talk about design fails in hardware.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That Red Ring is it's amazing to me that the Red Ring thing didn't follow Microsoft more closely over the years.
Yeah, well, because they bailed it out with money.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, Matt, the reason that they came to GDC, and I think it was GDC, it may have been another event, but it was a big press conference that they had. The reason they gave away the free Xbox is because they knew the entire press had already bought an Xbox and that it was going to die.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we don't want the people who are reviewing the games to be like, dude, I got screwed. I bought this console for all this money and it's broken.
I don't remember if that was GDC or DICE or C. It was one.
I can't remember.
It was early in the year, though. You're right. It was in that window. It was one of those.
Yep. And then another one that gave away the faceplate. That rare faceplate.
Oh, yeah. I have that.
The numbered one. I don't know how much money that's worth. Probably nothing anymore.
Pretty much nothing.
Because no one cares about faceplates anymore.
I'll look that up. You look at the...
Let's see. Fire Native. I got the PS3 Fat within a month or day. One of release with Black Flag and Need for Speed Rivals. It lasted for about 7 months when the disk drive went out. And wow, I'm surprised to hear that. Because the PS3 for me is a beast. Like, it is built pretty well, honestly. It feels like solid state. The disk drive went out, and GameStop gave me a regular since they didn't have any fats left. That sucks. Glad I paid $100 for the GS replacement warranty. Justin Horman says, I was in Italy when the 360 was first available there. Early 2006, my friend and I would trade off turns playing Oblivion, seriously, like 24 hours a day. One would sleep, one would play. That's awesome. All these memories. I have tons of memories like this with Xbox. Like the Rock Band and everything. Like, that was
Rock Band is one of those.
The height of Rock Band. Like, it was just... I think it may have been the greatest console generation, honestly. That including PS3 in there, because Sony was making great games. Their hardware sucked, but they were making great games. Like, it was just a great generation. You're kind of just seeing the future of video games unfurl before your eyes. And here we are, 20 years later, and things haven't changed all that much. Let's be serious. It's kind of crazy to think about. Quickster actually reminds us, PS3 did launch in 2006, a year after the 360.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you're right.
Those faceplates are going for, well, hang on. Let me look at the completed listings, not the not the one that's asking $3,000, because I don't think that's going to sell.
Next to Twa says, I'd love an Infamous remaster.
Oh yeah,
that franchise has kind of disappeared. Swan Senpai says, I have hundreds of great memories of my 360, but the last few years Microsoft has ruined the brand so badly, all those memories are tainted. I hate even just hearing Xbox now. That might be a little extreme. It's okay to admit you had fun with Xbox at one point in time.
The numbered E3 2005 faceplates are going for about $500.
Wow. I'm surprised. Retro Modern Gamer, I saw a video that says Gears of War is what forced Microsoft to double the RAM from 256 to 512. To help with in-game performance in the 360. Yep. I think maybe Peter Moore talks about that in the Eurogamer
I think he did,
interview. Yeah. Again, it's a really good interview. Go read it when you get a second. It's on SIFTD. Daring Swoosh. Funny how nearly all of the games I play on my Series X are from the 360 era. MCC, Gears Trilogy, Mass Effect, Bioshock Remastered, LOL. Yeah. Yep. Vincent says, the problem is that the most successful part of Xbox 360 was the Kinect. And that set up the problems that doomed the brand? What? Vincent, what are you talking about? People hated Kinect. It was a miserable failure. Are you joking or something? Being sarcastic? Once I booted up Uncharted, that was it for me. Xbox was done from Swan Senpai. Okay. Retro Modern Gamer. PS3 was my Sony exclusives and Blu-ray player. I think
Once he booted up, what?
he said once he booted up Uncharted, that was it for him. The Xbox was done.
I mean, it was done until I finished Uncharted, and then I went back to the system with all the games on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of games from that launch that hangar launch that I've never opened.
Yeah.
I still.
Because why would you?
Perfect Dark Zero and a couple of those others are still
Condemned Criminal Origins.
Condemned Cameo.
Yeah. Not Cirque. I would never boot up the PS3 again, but I had great memories with it, especially when the first Slim model released. Okay. I love the PS3 because it was also the Blu-ray player. Yeah, I think a lot of people use it for their Blu-ray player, for sure. A lot like PlayStation 2. People got it for a DVD player at first.
Kinect sold 10 million units in the first 2 months and was the fastest-selling consumer device at the time.
Yeah.
Did all right.
Oh, it sold.
But then they tripled down on the next generation. That's what Vince is talking about. Is like it became like part of the pillar of one of the pillars of their strategy for the Xbox One. I mean, you had to fucking buy it.
Yeah.
That stupid giant. I still have that brick thing in the closet somewhere. I don't know what to do with it.
He says the best-selling Xbox 360 game is Kinect Adventures, but that's because it was the only worthwhile game for Kinect, and 10 million people bought Kinect, so they had to buy a game. They had to have something to play.
Sort of the Wii Play thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is what I got. That might be the top-selling Wii game, but it's because you had to buy it to get a controller.
Right. Yeah,
And
that
you
sold
needed-
30 million.
Yeah, and you
Wii
needed
Play.
4 controllers to play bowling.
Yeah,
that's what everybody wanted that for.
Yeah, that happened a lot. There was that Take-Two game called Carnival Games that people bought too.
Yeah,
For
I did the review for that.
But again, that was a horrible game that people bought because of other reasons. So anyway, Xbox 360 was great. I do think it, between it and PS2, for the best console of all time, I think. It's close. But I shade towards Xbox 360 because, again, it showed what was to come more than the PS2 did.
It's hard. I think I've pretty much been console agnostic since I was a teenager. Like, I don't care about the console nearly as much as I care about the game.
Me too.
Yeah. And I don't, whatever.
I only care about the console in so much as, like, how does the game run on the console?
Yeah, but it's just like, so to me it's kind of more of an era by era thing and a game by game thing. Like, it's hard to say that the 360 was more fun than the Super Nintendo to some degree, but also I didn't even own a Super Nintendo at the time. I was playing other people's Super Nintendos, and I finally got one, and I was able to play some of these long form games. Nobody let me sit at their house and play Final Fantasy VI, right? So
Nope.
I had to get one to play Chrono Trigger in '95,
Yeah.
right? So that it's hard.
It's hard, yeah. Because a lot of it is like, who were you hanging out with at the time? How was your life going?
Yeah.
Were you in a good place financially? Were you in college? Were you doing well in college? Were you failing at, like, there's so much that goes into how you perceive everything in your life.
Like college for me was the Saturn and the N64. It was all
Dreamcast.
Turok and GoldenEye and
Towards the end,
and
Dreamcast.
Knights and Panzer Dragoon Saga and all. I mean, that's good stuff. Dragon Force.
Yeah.
But like then, this is. I mean, the Xbox 360 was a really good time in my life for sure. That was the height of G4's power to some degree.
I think it was the height of like what we do.
It was the height of kind of the gaming press as we knew it.
That was when it's like, there were so many outlets. Everybody was making decent money. Like, everyone was turning a profit.
You still had to be of a certain kind of specialization and budget to do video.
Yeah. So you actually had an advantage if you had some resources.
2005 was the first year we did E3 Live, and then game trailers started to rise like the following year.
Yeah.
And basically it was just you guys and us and Vic Lucas. That was basically video production in
IGN was very slow to come around, and it only came around after they poached our lead editor, our lead video editor, who I had taught how to cut everything. He goes to IGN. Within 2 weeks, their video reviews were exactly like our video reviews. Their previews were exactly like our previews. Nothing you can do.
When people forget,
you pass the knowledge along. You can't lock them down.
No, I guess people don't forget because it's not anything anyone knows. Like, basically, the modern way, X-Play presented video game reviews on television, and what would then move on to what you would bring to game trailers and everything. Like, there was one day where Ryan Vance, the showrunner of the show, or was going to be, we were still working on creating the show and figuring out what it was going to be. He basically sat down with you and me and was like, I want you guys to figure out what a modern video game video review looks like, with humor and through lines and something that's not just like a consumer products thing. And so you and I basically started to do that. And even in extended play near the last probably 6 months of it, our
We were
reviews
already
started to
starting
become
to do
that.
that,
Yeah, we
yeah.
weren't like going. We weren't going quite so R-rated because they wanted a late night adult.
Right.
Yeah, or else they were going to fire us all. So we're like, yeah, well, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll have that show, sure. But yeah, you and I basically sat down and figured that out.
Yeah.
And like I think that had an impact.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it mattered in the end. It really did. No one will give us credit for it, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, what good would it do if they
None.
did? But it's like
None at all.
it's like, sorry, angry video game nerd is kind of our fault.
And he was on Game Trailer, so it was definitely our fault over there for sure. So anyway, the other thing Amazing Vector brings up is Call of Duty 4. That was another.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the modern Call of Duty was established
Oh, yeah.
on Xbox 360.
And Call of Duty 2. Like,
Yeah.
One of the so I was talking to some people online about our launch coverage, so I linked them the show, which
Wow.
shows on YouTube. Thanks to the new Spooey channel. Spooey was like the biggest X-Play fan in the world, and he
Yeah,
has
I
everything
remember him.
cataloged and all that.
Yeah.
So he has it up on his channel. It's called the Countdown to Zero Hour. If you want to look it up, it's 3 hours of live coverage of the hangar as everything is counting down.
Yeah.
You probably see me in there somewhere.
We worked for months before that.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
to build all these segments to run live in the show.
And like review everything. All the reviews had to be ready to go to air at midnight that night when everything went live. And I so if you watch
we
that,
did it.
I did review and write the and cut the Call of Duty 2. So
Yeah.
I went to Infinity Ward and played it, and like I very specific, and you can hear it. I watch it again, and you can hear in the review how shocked I was that I liked it because I was going. Because people forget how many World War II shooters there were at the time.
Every shooter was
And
a World
everything
War II
was World War II because
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan and then Allied Assault, just like everyone was trying to do all this stuff. And like I remember driving to Infinity Ward up in the valley and just being like, up in Studio City, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to sit in front of the people. Like, how am I going to pretend I'm enjoying it or not being a dick about it? And I sat down and for like 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, like
I'll be
what
all
have
right.
what have you done? And like,
Yeah.
I remember them coming. You know, we sat down for lunch, and they're like, you're really quiet. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's
Yeah.
like blew. It was overload. I couldn't process it all. And then of course they move on and do Modern Warfare, and it was.
And then
just
you
like,
played the rest of the launch lineup.
Yeah, I mean.
Realize you were the lucky one who had to play Call of Duty.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. It was like COD 2 was really the star of that show. And
Absolutely, yeah.
and I've gone back to it once in a while, and that game still
pretty good.
Still holds up pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yep. Well, there you go. That's our celebration of the 20th anniversary of the
Also,
Xbox
if you look
360.
if you look up that show, you get to see baby Jeff Keighley.
That's right.
He was on that show.
He hasn't aged all that much.
No, I mean you can.
Although I would say
He's got a lot more light in his eyes
at
from back then,
Gamescom
because
this
we've all
year-
been through some things.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. At Gamescom this year, that was the first time I saw him. I was like, okay, he's not immortal.
No, I noticed that at the Game Awards last year.
Did you?
He's
Yeah.
I mean,
He's doing pretty well,
little
though.
gray at the temples. I mean, the man has been on a lot of Zoom meetings in his life, and that takes a toll.
True. Yeah.
But also, I mean, it doesn't look bad on him.
No,
Like,
not at all.
You know, it's okay. I mean, and he's finally stopped wearing the white sneakers on stage.
Right.
So that's
well, they're
good.
not a thing anymore. It's
No,
not
you
cool
gotta
anymore.
move past that. You gotta just have everything match.
Yeah.
We're in our 50s, man. You gotta let it. You gotta be the George Clooney now. You gotta transition into the Silver Fox.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. It's not easy. All right. Well, there you go. That's our celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Xbox 360. Next up, we're going to talk about the Analogue 3D, which is this cool thing that's been sitting next to Matt for the entire show so far. It is actually, you should probably describe it, Matt.
So this is by a company called Analogue. They make FPGA retro consoles. And what that is instead of software emulation, it is essentially, it's not really correct, but it's hardware emulation. Imagine they've
But it's not the same exact hardware, right?
It's not the same hardware, but you've used modern hardware to basically take the place of the original hardware. So the game, when you plug a game cartridge into this, it doesn't, for lack of a better description, it doesn't know it's not in an N64.
Right.
So there are no compatibility issues. There's no sound playback. You're not going to have the thing where emulators don't know how to handle some weird game that did the programming on one thing weird.
Right.
Like we had to kludge together some weird solution for the Sky that only that game uses, so
Right.
it doesn't run right on the emulator. That doesn't happen on FPGA because
Yeah.
you're basically emulating you're recreating the hardware, and then you've got a bunch of stuff in it that enhances it. So you got like a bunch of playback things. This has an HDMI out. It puts everything out in 4K. And you have some overclocking, so you can, if you would like to see what Ocarina of Time looks like running smoothly, or Majora's Mask, just about everything does that. Rogue Squadron runs really well. The only other thing I would say, Banjo-Tooie still kind of runs like shit. There's not much they can do about that.
Why am I not
one.
surprised at that?
But yeah, in general, it's a solution to put N64 games on a 4K screen and not have them look god awful.
Yeah,
because you are blowing up a 240i.
Yeah, I don't think you guys realize how little
on the original one.
240p and 240i
they're postage stamps. And there are breakup boxes you can use, but I have one of those for my N64 as well, and this is night and day better. It supports 4 controllers. You have the 4 controller ports on the front. You can plug original N64 controllers into it. Like if you have your old ones, they work just fine. It also supports a new 8-bit DOE 64 controller, which recreates the button layout.
How much is that?
40.
Okay, that's not too bad.
There's a black one and a white one. The black one sells out a lot.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. The one thing that I thought was a little weird. There it is. One thing I thought was a little weird is I believe it has a virtual expansion pack for the enhancement graphics and stuff built into it. But I think you only get the virtual data pack where you save the games. I think you only get that through the 8-bit DOE controller.
That's crazy. Which
they did not. Didn't really seem to lay that out. I haven't tried a normal N64 controller, but I've seen people talking about how they can't access the data pack if they're using an OG controller, which is weird.
That is weird.
The description of that in the manual and the kind of the specifications sort of says and you can do this. Thanks to the 8-bit DOE. It doesn't say specifically you have to have an 8-bit DOE controller to do that, but it seems like you could read it that way once you already know that that's how that works. But I'm not clear on that yet.
Now it has the 4 meg expansion pack, right? So
yeah,
you
the
can
expansion
play
pack is built
Perfect
into
Dark and all that.
Yeah, it's all in there. It runs very, very. Actually, the expansion pack stuff looks much better because they can do a progressive thing with it that makes it look. It doesn't have the scan line so much.
Yeah.
And they are going to be updating the firmware to.
There's a white console too.
Yeah, there's a white one. That one's hard to get.
Huh.
I got the black one because
I would have got the black one.
It looks more like that.
It's sharp looking, man.
It's really nice.
Because it looks like the N64, but it's got its own style still. Mm-hmm. But it has like the same curves, Mm-hmm. So I think they did a pretty good job on the form factor for it, for sure. Form factor,
Analog always looks really nice. Yeah. I have all of their consoles. I have the Genesis, the Super Nintendo one, the PC Engine Duo one, and now this one. They're all and the Pocket, the handheld one, which looks like a
hold that up actually so you can see it on camera. It's one thing to see the B-roll of it, but to see it in someone's hands, you get a better.
It's a little small. The underside has like a rubber mat, so it doesn't slide around. It's loud. It's got fans in it.
Really? There's fans in that
thing? When
it
starts up, you hear it go.
Really? By the way, we were gonna do a demo of this live for you guys, but it wouldn't talk well with our TriCaster, so we couldn't plug it into the TriCaster.
Which is too bad because I had all my games.
Yeah, he has all his carts here ready to play too, but it just the handshake wouldn't work.
Here's the old Zelda holographic Majora's Mask. It just goes right in.
And Matt, you said that your saves were still there on your carts.
Yeah, the battery backup saves are still
20-some years later, though, they were still there. That is amazing.
It was the first time I'd loaded up my Donkey Kong 64 save this century.
That's crazy.
Here's one for the live chat.
Hey, how do memory
cards...
Hybrid
Heaven. Anyway,
nice. Is that worth some money? Hybrid Heaven?
This stuff's out of the box now.
Oh.
Here's a Body Harvest.
There you
Body
go.
Harvest. No, in fact, my Jet Force Gemini cartridge is missing. I don't know. It's the only game that I can't find. I don't know what happened. It's probably in a box somewhere in a garage.
How do memory cards work?
What?
How do memory cards work?
I said that. That's the data pack.
But how do I get like the save off of my memory card onto like a data pack or whatever?
What do you mean?
Like how do I transfer the save?
That
off
is
of
a data pack, the memory card.
Oh,
that's what they called them.
Really?
The things that plug into the controllers that you save the game on?
I thought they were called memory packs.
They might be memory packs. Maybe it might have been memory packs. But well, you just plug in an OG controller.
Wait. Oh, so you plug them into an OG controller and then plug it into this, and it'll still read it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what if you don't have an OG controller? Is there any way to do it?
Not that I know of.
Interesting. Because N64 games, a lot of them had battery saves, but a lot of them you had to use a memory card for.
A couple of them. Body Harvest, I thought used the memory pack, but it had my saves on it. So
really?
I guess it uses the battery.
I'm surprised. I mean, everybody told us that these saves would be dead and gone by now.
I mean, some people. I mean, look, tons of people are pulling their N64 games out for the first time in forever this week, and some of them do have dead batteries.
They do.
You know, it varies.
I'm very nervous. I don't want to check. I just don't want to know.
All the stuff I've put in still has the saves in it, unless they are obviously memory. You know, like Shadows of the Empire does not have battery backup. So
Yeah.
I had to create a new save. And I accidentally put it on medium because that game is too hard to play on anything but easy. I remembered that after dying on the first level. These games are a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Not a great experience in a lot of ways.
How much is this thing? Because I think I saw on the B-roll
it was $250.
$250. Did you get a controller with it?
No,
you don't.
Of course not. No.
So you only get the hardware and then 2 cables, I guess, power and HDMI.
You get an HDMI and a power cable, and it comes with a little cleaning kit for the cartridges because you're supposed to keep.
You're gonna need them.
I don't have it up here with me, but it's like they're like little magic erasers that you run through the thing. And most of mine were pretty clean, but I noticed that Mario 64 was very dirty, so I ran it through, and it came out black. It came out absolutely I'm like, well, that's the end of that magic square. I mean, that was one use, and it's done.
Wow.
Like, there's nothing else you can do with that.
Well, it is your oldest cart.
Yeah, it's definitely the oldest cartridge, no question.
Yep.
And you put them in, and it does auto-recognize every game. It's compatible with every game. It recognizes it. It'll keep a log. It doesn't keep everything quite.
I noticed it knows the games. Yeah,
it does
it'll
know
tell
all the
you like
games.
what version it is,
Yep.
and like whether it like uses a Rumble pack or not, and
how many players it is, what year it came out.
Yeah.
It's a nice little library you sort of build up.
Yeah.
And of course, eventually they will jailbreak this thing, and you'll be able to put ROMs on it, which is what everyone does with the other ones. So.
Yeah. But at launch, not the case.
No, it usually takes a month or so before someone releases the jailbreak version of the firmware. And that's that.
Are you happy with your purchase?
Pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
No
regrets.
No, I mean,
Regrets.
I like having this kind of retro stuff available, and it's an easy way to play it on a modern TV rather, which is impossible.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
do
I
that.
have my N64 still. I never play it because it either uses composite or an S-video cable, and modern TVs do not have S-video inputs or composite.
No, you gotta
inputs.
get a breakout box or an HDMI converter, and
so I just don't play.
And
it.
this obviously looks better, way better.
Yeah,
than
way
that.
better. Yeah,
and it's good stuff. So like I also like Analogue as a company. I think in general they make good hardware, so I'm glad to have it around. I will say it's cool to see all this stuff in the kind of the original form with the original cartridges working that way, but I'm forced to admit that in terms of the N64 library, a big chunk of the appeal of the library is the rare games.
Yeah,
and every rare game on this is better in the rare replay on Xbox.
I'm not surprised at all.
You don't have the scan lines, you don't have the interlacing problem, everything runs better, and it just works.
But like Banjo-Kazooie runs at a solid frame rate on this, right?
Yeah, runs fine.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that I'm most impressed by is how good it looks.
Yeah.
Like considering that these are 30-year-old games, some of them.
And all the different display options have their own charm.
Yeah.
You were flipping through them and I was watching them. I'm like, I like that for this, and then you flip it, I like that for that.
And some of as I understand it, I at least this is what people were saying. I don't know if it's fully true, but apparently because it recognizes every game individually, they can program the thing to the OS, the 3D OS it's called, to say like, okay, this game we know that these settings or this form of overclocking, if you have it to auto, it knows how to kind of present it best, and that they sounds like they're going to continue to develop that over time. They do support these things pretty well going forward.
So there you go. That's the Analogue 3D 250.
Yeah.
Would you recommend people buy it?
I mean, you can't buy it right now because
it's sold out.
They got a restock on Monday, and it sold out in 10 minutes.
Wow.
I'm surprised you didn't get one. To some degree.
I kind of missed the boat on it, and when you told me you got one, you had kind of told me that you thought the pre-orders had sold out already.
Yeah, they were gone real fast.
And then they kind of delayed it a couple times, and I just kind of lost track of it, and blah, blah, blah. I'll probably get one eventually. Because
you're going to get one now.
What?
I got you one.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
What?
You're like probably the biggest N64 fan I still know.
Oh my god,
and you have
Matt, thank you!
And you have all your stuff still.
Oh my god! Thank you, Matt!
We're going to update that before you leave.
Oh my gosh!
You and updates, I'm not going to trust that.
Oh my gosh! Thank you, Matt!
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
And there's a controller downstairs. I didn't get you no controller. That would be mean.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
This is awesome. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thanks, man. I really, really appreciate that. Wow, that is freaking great.
I'm glad you didn't want the white one.
Yeah, no. I want the black.
I was like, because I pre-ordered that a year ago.
Really?
And I'm like, he wants the black one, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I would prefer the black one. Can you believe this? That's freaking awesome. Amazing. Thank you, Matt. That is great. I can't wait to go home and play it. And pull out all my old carts and everything.
It's a lot of fun.
I can't wait to check and see if my saves are there.
Yeah, it's like pulling up Ocarina
You're
of
just
Time,
like, oh,
pulling up
please.
Ocarina of Time, and like my completed save from like almost
With
30
everything.
years ago was still there. I'm just like, oh, look at you, look at you,
That's
look
incredible.
at Link, he's still there, he's right there, right in the Shadow Temple, ready to go.
Thank you, Matt. That is awesome, man. Yes, that's great. All right, well, that's awesome. Thank you, man. All right, we got to move on. We're going to talk about the Xbox partner preview that happened last week. Vincent was sending us some messages before the stream started, saying that he was surprised we're going to talk about that, but we didn't talk about the state of play. I think that the Xbox partner preview from this week was better than the Sony state of play from the week prior. So we're going to talk about it, but we only have a few games that we're going to discuss, and we need to get through this pretty quickly because we're running out of time. First game I want to talk about is a game called Zoo Punk. This game had actually been shown a couple times before it was in this Xbox partner preview. They did like a little thing with NVIDIA. This game is being made in China. It is the prequel to a game called Fist. Do you remember that game? It also...
Oh, yeah, FIST. Yeah, I remember that.
It also starred an anthropomorphic rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the prequel to that kind of sets up everything that ended up happening in Fist.
Finally, all my questions answered.
Yeah, exactly. This is a 4-player cooperative hack and slash that you play online with other players, and it is stunning. It's really crazy, the stuff that's coming out of China, Matt. It really is. It feels like they're just crushing everybody.
They're doing pretty well. I've seen some talk about that. Is China the new? They're definitely on the rise.
Yeah.
I think maybe if they can break out of sort of the dark fantasy Souls-like Asian mythology bracket, they might. Show me a JRPG, show me a platformer, show me if they can break out of this one little genre they've been focusing on, which is fair because it's sort of the most obvious appeal right now. But there's some exciting stuff happening over there.
This game looks awesome.
And South Korea. Don't
right.
forget about South Korea
as well. You're right.
But all of Asia is sort of like, I think on the precipice of, I think next gen, this is what's going to drive the industry is that part of the world.
Production value wise, it is, they are just making some of the best looking games in the industry. It's just, there's no, whether you like the games themselves, whether you like the mechanics or not.
Yeah, the tech is undeniable.
The tech,
whatever you think of Black Myth Wukong, that tech is undeniable.
Yeah, and the tech in this too, it is stunning. This is one of the best looking games I think I've ever seen.
Looks really nice, and all the furries are very excited.
Oh, I bet.
But I'm very impressed by the personality they get out of a semi-photorealistic rabbit. Like that's pretty good acting from a deer.
Yeah. Well, there's a rabbit, there's a chipmunk, and a rhino that you can play as. There needs to be a fourth one because 4 people can play the game, but I think they've only announced 3 characters so far. But obviously the rhino is the heavy, the chipmunk is like the magic caster, and the rabbit is the mid-range everything. This just blew my doors off technically. And if you go and search around on the internet, there's gameplay of this out there, like lots of it. So this isn't bullshots. This isn't some nice trailer that they worked up. This is the game. And again, it is called Zoo Punk. It is coming to everything. It is coming. They don't even have a release date for it yet, but my guess is people are saying probably 2027. But yeah, it is the prequel to Fist Forged in Shadow Torch, which is the game before this one. So anyway, this is the game that really caught my fancy and really kind of made a big impression on me from the partner preview. And again, it is called Zoo Punk. Next up, a game you've seen before called Tides of Annihilation. This game actually debuted in a state of play last year, I think it was. And people freaked out over it. We're like, oh my God. And now they've double dipped and like, welp, it's coming to Xbox too. So can we get into your show? And sure enough, they did. And this, I think, was probably the game for most people that made the biggest impact. This is not a Souls-like, although as you start watching the B-roll, you'll think it is. It is not. It is just a typical hack-and-slash action-adventure. This is also coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series, as I mentioned. Obviously it's coming to PlayStation, also coming to PC. This game is also from China. Not quite as good-looking as Zoo Punk, but still pretty darn good-looking.
It does feel like it's kind of... It reminds me of Final Fantasy Remake.
It does.
Like the aesthetic and the look and the lighting and the modern plus the fantasy.
The weird mashup of like time periods.
It's also kind of what I'm thinking. If China really wants to be a power player in this, I feel like that's the kind of, you need to provide competition and alternatives to things that no one in the West is doing. Like how about a Chinese-made GTA
Seriously.
competitor?
Why
or
haven't they done
or
it?
a Skyrim competitor?
I know.
Or here's a Final Fantasy competitor.
Yep.
Like that's where the real threat would come from in terms of like, you know, in terms of being like kind of the leader in the industry, like driver.
Yeah.
Would be like, hey, we can do this too.
Yeah.
And we don't need to take 10 years.
Yeah. This is basically like a character action game, like a Bayonetta or a Devil May Cry. And obviously, you know, the big X factor with this is how does the combat feel? So we'll see about that. But again, another game from China that looks really good. And we'll see if it plays really well. But yeah, so this is Tides of Annihilation. Again, this is coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. As of right now, its release date is loosely for 2026. Another game we want to show you is a game called Armistice. This is a
If you can tell, this is a different game.
Yeah.
There's a look across a lot of these.
Yeah. It doesn't look... It's hard to tell, you're right, that this is a different game. But this is a roguelite third-person shooter set in Paris. The demon-infested ruins of Paris,
Right.
I should add.
I mean, that's serendipitous considering the impact of Expedition 33 this year. Oh, and we have a little bit of Destiny influence.
It looks
here,
a lot
too.
like Destiny, yeah. This is actually from the developers of Godfall. Remember
I
that
remember
launch
that.
PlayStation 5 game?
Yeah.
That was like one of the first PS5 games we ever got to look at.
Oh, yeah.
And then it tanked horribly and nobody bought it.
I think you can get it for $5 right now.
Yeah.
on the sale.
The studio almost went under for... obviously, because Godfall didn't sell at all, and it struggled and barely survived. This is its new game. Obviously, it's a little smarter this time. It's going multi-platform. It's not putting all its eggs in one basket. I think that's the right approach.
Yeah.
But again, this is a sci-fi, roguelite, third-person shooter, and that looks a lot like Destiny, you're right, with the capes and the hoods and everything. But anyway, again, that is called Armistice. Next up is a game, and this one definitely looks different, is a game called Echo Generation 2. Did you play the first Echo Generation?
I've never even heard of
I
the
hadn't
first Echo
either.
Generation.
But this is a sequel, and this game looks real cool. This is almost like a Back to the Future styled turn-based RPG. But it also has like a card and deck building mechanic. Their tagline is "Deal the cards, defy the cosmos, embrace the adventure." Okay.
All right.
You're basically called in to contain some kind of crazy science breach or whatever. But what happens is you end up getting sucked in by this crazy tentacle monster into this cyberpunk world, which is kind of crazy. You know, the objective of the entire game is to find your way back to your reality or whatever. It's almost kind of like a voxel-based, like, Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
With the
cyberpunk
Land of the Lost.
It's funny how many of these games are almost like, oh, you won't finish Beyond Good and Evil 2? We'll do it ourselves. With our own take.
Again, I say this pretty often, but again, it's just amazing how good games are looking in general. Like, this is just a small indie team, and this game is stunning. Like, just that shot right there.
Yeah, I mean, the tools you have now is a whole different ballgame.
I mean, it's
when you don't have to build it all from scratch.
It's really awesome.
And you've got options other than just Unreal.
Yeah.
Like, there you go.
Yeah. It's really awesome. What small studios were able to do now.
I'm not usually a big voxel person, but this does look pretty nice.
It looks cool, man. So again, this is Echo Generation 2. I've never heard of Echo Generation 1, and I've definitely never played it. But this game looks really cool. Definitely one to keep an eye on. I believe this is also a multi-platform. The other thing that really struck me about this whole thing, Matt, is that Xbox's partner previews and Xbox's press events are the new E3 press conference because they have games from every platform. It's like at the end of the trailers, they have the icons for all of them. It'll say Xbox, PC, PlayStation 5, Switch 2. I mean,
they're not and even, I mean, a lot of the other ones also they don't have the icons, but they are for everything. They just don't admit it.
Right. And this, they're just like, gigs up. We don't care anymore. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. So, pretty cool to watch. I mean,
we're only selling hardware to rich people next generation anyway, so who cares?
I'm just telling you, like, if you normally don't pay attention to these things because you're a PlayStation owner or whatever, that should change.
Yeah.
Because these are for PlayStation owners now. They're showing games that you are going to be able to buy on your PlayStation, and in a lot of cases, some of the biggest games that you're going to be able to buy for your PlayStation. So definitely keep an eye on these. Just a couple more games that I want to bring up. The first one is a game called Erosion. I haven't quite figured out this game yet. Like, it's there's time travel in here somewhere. Like, you're trying to rescue your daughter. That's kind of like your goal. But every time she dies, or every time you die, like 10 years are taken off of the timeline or something like that. But it is also voxel-driven, obviously. This is also a roguelite. But it's a roguelite take on the Old West, where you're rescuing your daughter. Every death costs you a decade. This is coming in the second quarter of next year, but it's only announced right now for PC and Xbox. The developers had hinted that a PS5 version will eventually be coming, but it will launch initially early next year for PC and Xbox. It also is set in an open world, which is weird. Like, how do you do a roguelite in an open world? Because usually, part and parcel with that design is that the game is linear, because you have to keep making it kind of through the same sections over and over again. So it's kind of interesting that they've figured out a way to do a roguelike with an open world.
If you jump ahead 10 years every time you die, then it means you basically have like just that many world states.
That's true. That's actually true.
And part of the interest would be finding out what has happened to everything in the last 10 years, more than changing everything.
Yeah. And the tagline for this game is join a cult, steal a ride, gamble cheddar.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, again, that game is called Erosion. And then the final game that I wanted to show you is a game called The Mound.
There it is.
The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu. This is also PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. This is also coming in Q2 2026. This is a 4-player cooperative first-person shooter where you search for treasure, basically. Obviously, it's inspired by Lovecraft and his haunting myths. It blends cooperative survival, psychological horror, and exploration in what they call a brutal test of trust and perception, because apparently you hallucinate in this game, and you don't know exactly what is real and what isn't real, and that's one of the big mechanics in the game. Obviously, when you're playing with other people, and they don't know if you're real or not, maybe they start shooting you or whatever, that could definitely cause some interesting situations on the chat log. But the game doesn't look that good, but it does seem like an interesting concept, and I know a lot of people like Cthulhu stuff, so thought I would show that one as well. And then just very quickly...
Game that tricks you into team killing.
Pretty much, yeah. And then just very quickly, I just want to run down the other stuff that was shown that I didn't feel like was worth the time here on the show. Dave the Diver DLC was shown. Also, I think the Xbox version of Dave the Diver is finally coming out. It's crazy it's taken that long. A game called Crown Sworn, which is a 2D action adventure, which also has cards in it. Vampire Crawlers, which is like a spin-off of Vampire Survivors.
Which will be the best-selling game in this entire
presentation. It probably will be, yeah. They showed an Aston Martin vehicle for 007 First Light. They showed a game called Roadside Research, which I thought looked terrible. Total Chaos launched during that presentation. The release date trailer for Reanimal, and that's coming on February 13th, which is the new game from the studio that made Little Nightmares 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2. The third one was made by a different studio. And what else? Clover Pit, which is like this cool kind of spin-off on Balatro. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where you're trapped in a room, you have to gamble your way out, and if you don't, you go to hell. That game looks crazy. That game might end up being a big hit too, actually. Then they showed Eminem is the next target in Hitman.
Right.
And then they showed a sequel to a game called Raji, which wasn't a big hit, but like in Eastern Europe it was, or yeah, Eastern Europe and Asia it was. And there's a new one called Raji Kala Yuga, where you play as a young boy and a shaman, and that's coming from Nodding Head Games. So overall, pretty good Xbox partner preview. Didn't have any first-party stuff in it, just third-party, some smaller stuff, but some pretty interesting stuff. So I thought it was a pretty good show, and I wanted to share you some of the highlights from it. And there you go. All right. Next up, and last up, and we need to do this quickly, Matt. We are going to review...
Well, unfortunately, this game doesn't do anything quickly.
I know. We are going to review Inazuma 11. It is a soccer RPG from Level 5. A studio synonymous with RPGs and really good adventure games on occasion. We previewed this 3 years ago.
The demo was last summer.
Was it only a year
last
ago?
year, yeah.
I thought it was longer than that.
No, it was summer last year.
They put out a demo. They've delayed this 4 times, I think, at this point, something like that. They've worked on this for like 7 years or something insane.
Yeah.
But it is like a Studio Ghibli level RPG.
It's a TV series.
Yeah.
Really, like chapters end and there's like a finale with like a title and a teaser for the next episode, and which is what you're about to play in the next 5 minutes. Like it's bizarre. It's like it's all done like with almost like end credits. And
really?
And you move into the next episode, and it's like a new episode of the series, right down to people recapping what just happened as though there was a week between.
Really?
What you just watched. Like you could run this as minus the gameplay segments. You could run this as an anime series, and you probably wouldn't lose anything.
Huh. So I did not play the final version of this. I played the demo, but the demo was gigantic. I played like 4 hours of this or something crazy back when the demo came out, and then they delayed it, and so they took the demo down, and maybe the demo's still up actually. I don't know. And here we are a year plus later, and it finally has come out. It is available for pretty much every platform. That's another thing that kind of changed over the long development cycle. At first, it was not supposed to be for every platform, but when you work on something that long, you're like, well, why not?
Yeah. And I think level 5 generally is trying to be everything now.
It is pretty multi-platform, yeah.
And this is obviously a very long-running series in Japan.
As far as anime and manga.
As far as the games, it started as a game.
This was a game first?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it started as anime and manga.
No. They made several anime series and manga out of it, but no, it started as the Inazuma 11 was believe it was a GBA game. Started as their GBA or DS game, and like
did it ever come here?
2005-ish, 2006-ish. The first game actually did come here, digital only on the DS store in English, which I didn't know until last week. So I
didn't
never
know
played
either.
it.
I didn't think it ever came here.
So that's the only one that I know of the main series that came here. There is a remake coming next year, which might come here. This is the 4th game in the main series. There have been more than a dozen spin-offs.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is a huge series in Japan.
Yeah.
In part because like sports anime and manga and stuff like this has been a big genre since the 70s. Like, like that basketball manga anime whose name I am not remembering right now. That was a huge deal.
There's an American football one called Ice Shield 21.
Yep.
Which in Japan you would never think that there would be an anime and manga about American football.
There's an anime or manga about everything.
There is, yeah.
About everything.
You're right. Yeah.
There's an anime or manga about extreme ironing. I assure you.
You're probably
somewhere.
right. Yeah.
So the premise of this, and this is in continuity.
With what? The prior games?
The prior 3 games. And as a matter of fact, almost everyone from those prior 3 games is in this somewhere. At the very least on another team in the league. Tiny Blip in History notes that the Japanese version of this had several releases like a chapter-based, because that's why it's episodic like that.
Yeah.
So you play this kid whose name is in the English version. So one thing I do like is you have English and Japanese language you can pick from, dubbing. You can also pick English or Japanese names.
Oh,
so the names have all been basically Anglicized for the dub. But if you don't want that, which I didn't, if you don't like that they're calling the big guy with the pink hair Brian, you can change the names in text back to the Japanese names, which is what I did. So either way, I think in English his name is Destin, because his name in Japanese also means destiny. So his name is like Destiny Fate or something.
Sometimes there is no analog. Like in
much.
Spanish class, they had to call me Samuel because there's no Spanish for Shane.
Now this is his name is Destin is sort of something. I mean, sort of Dustin, I guess a little bit. So this kid, he's a very quiet, like very folded in introverted kid, and the backstory is basically he loves soccer. Or as they call it, it's funny because they call it football in the translation, but they clearly are, in Japan they call it soccer.
Do they?
So
I didn't know that. Actually,
you hear them say soccer over, but the translation says football. Destin Billows, yeah. So his name is like Destiny in the Wind or something like that in Japanese.
Destin Billows.
Everyone's name.
The wind of fate.
Everyone's name. If you look up the translation of their name in Japanese, is about as subtle as a Harry Potter name.
Oh.
Very very on the nose.
Yeah.
So he transfers to this new school because they have no football team, because he hates football. And the reason, of course, turns out he loves football. He played it when he was younger, but he has a heart condition, so he can't play anymore. So he tries to convince himself to hate football and go to this school with no football team. But in the end, he ends up sort of hooking up with this. It's a little weird. The tall kid with the pink hair is like a juvenile delinquent, but he's in a fight and he's kicking people, and he's like, those are 1 in a million legs. Only those legs must play soccer. And he like throws himself in front of a lead pipe and gets knocked out to like protect the other kid's legs, which is very weird.
Yeah, that scene is weird.
But but he kind of ends up because there's like the baseball team, like which is the dominant sports club on the campus, insults soccer. He basically decides to reform the football club because the football club's been disbanded because 5 years ago there was some huge brawl and violent thing, so they banned football from the campus and you're not allowed to even talk about
hooligans.
Soccer. And like it's funny because like the soccer field's just not used for anything, and like there's a deflated soccer ball on the field, like it just has been left there and no one has touched it
for like 20 years.
5 years. 5 years ago. At one point, you go and talk to one of the kids who was like in the incident, and like they're like, I've seen him walking up and down the beach in an out-of-date police outfit, like he's lost the will to live. I'm like, he's like 20. Like it was 5 years ago. These are 8th graders. Like what is going on? But I mean, the best part of it is like it's very dramatic shonen style stuff because when you're in 7th and 8th grade, everything is the most important thing that's ever happened, right?
Yep.
So
I mean, this whole thing here is bizarre too.
This is a little different now, so you don't kick soccer balls at them anymore. You just do these moves.
Snooper.
The whole combat system is paper rock scissors based, so you'll see like the paper rock or scissors symbol above an enemy, and you pick the counter to that, and you'll do extra damage. It's very easy. It's very simple. It's really just there to like as an excuse to level up. And so he decides to reform the football club and bring it back to the school and uncover the conspiracy that banned football and be the winning 11 basically.
Yeah.
But you start out as the winning 5 because it's only 5v5 in the beginning.
Yeah.
I played my first match of soccer, where you get a 5 versus 5 sort of scrimmage together to like test the team you've put together. And as a matter of fact, it might be, it's 5 versus 5, but you only have 3 people, so they give you 2 extra people with you. 5.5 hours into the game, you finally play soccer, and then you don't play an actual because there's a whole build up to this. He challenges the baseball team to a soccer match for like the honor of football, and so they have to put together a football team in that amount of time, and that's like the first big soccer match, and that's like 9 hours into the game. And this, I'm not kidding.
I mean, this game's probably like 200 hours long.
I mean, it can be because you gotta get through the story, and then after the story, you basically can play league play as long as you want. And then there's a whole
then it becomes a soccer game,
there's a whole other campaign section where you can play like just through all the different teams, and there's drama between all the teams. You create a player who can be your player on those teams, but the created player also is in the story mode, but they're just a student at the school. There's this one kid with purple hair. I'm like, what's that purple? Oh, that's me. That's like, okay, that's the guy I created. I hadn't seen you in hours. I didn't realize you were still here.
That's funny.
And then they're gonna add a post game thing and a new game plus replay.
Yeah.
Because there's 15 teammates you can draft to be in the team, but you can only draft 5 per playthrough.
I see.
And they have whole backstories and modes and like backstories and side quests and things just for them. So if you want to see all the character stuff in the game, you have to kind of play it 3 times. Mm-hmm. But they're adding stuff, and there's like an advent calendar every day. You get to open a new prize going all the way up into March next year, because that's when they're going to keep adding new modes.
Wow.
If you want to play this game, like to get everything out of it, I guess Kirby Air Riders, there's 300-400 hours of content in this, like no question. I'm not going to play it that long, but
how long are you going to play it?
I'd like
you still enjoying it?
I'd like to see the end of it. Yeah, I do enjoy it because it's not, when you play the soccer part, it's not actually a soccer game.
Yeah.
So much as it's sort of a soccer game, but every interaction between the players kind of becomes a little QTE mini game almost, where like your stats are against their stats. Like say you're up against trying to get a ball past someone, you have to decide whether to dodge left or right, and whether to use stamina, whether to use a feint or barge through them.
It's almost like turn-based soccer,
and it depends on their stat. Yeah, there is basically it turns every interaction between the players into sort of a bigger conflict that happens way longer than it takes to actually do it in real life. But that's kind of what it feels like when you have that interaction in soccer as someone.
No, you're right.
It's like those interactions with someone when you're trying to get past them or trying to stop them. Because when you're trying to stop them, you can put up magic castle walls that they have to like, kick around and pass past.
Wow.
And like there's super moves and like there's you can jump up in the air and do like turn into a fireball and knock the goalie into the goal because you kick so hard. And that's what this castle and the defensive moves are for, is they dull the power of the ball. So if the ball doesn't hit the goalie hard enough, by the time it gets to him, they can catch it.
I see.
And like so, it's not a soccer simulation, but it
does
kind of feel like when you play a sport. It has that heightened. That would be the word for all of it, is heightened. Everything's very dramatic. Everything's very important. We all must move very quickly because this is the most important thing that's ever happened. Like news. There are news reports about what's happening with the football club. There's like shadowy, smoky meetings between the school board members about like, I heard they're playing soccer next week. Yeah. We gotta stop them. Those kids can't be allowed to play soccer at this school. It's like it's just shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's actually very entertaining in a weird way, and it's actually pretty funny.
I enjoyed it. I played it. I think I ended up playing it for like 5 hours. In the demo, and I enjoyed it.
There's a lot of like little notes. I love the little notes where like, so the way you get items in the game is you'll find these, like, you'll see those little ghosts. So you don't actually kick the ghost soccer balls at them in the final game. This is the demo. But those ghost soccer balls are laying around the areas you run through, and you run up to them and kick them. Mm-hmm. And when it lands, you get an item. And eventually, they get more complicated. Like, there's one where, like, you have to kick it to another ghost player off in the distance. There's one where, like, you activate it, and a ghost player will start running into slide tackle. You have to jump over them at the right time and all that stuff. And at some point after this starts happening, the characters, are like, when you start getting like a crew with you, the other characters are like, what is he doing? Why does he just kick the air sometimes? Yeah. And they're like, and one of them's like, you get used to it. He just plays soccer with nothing sometimes. And like, so like the implication is that like, you're literally, it's not like figurative. You're literally like playing soccer with things only you can see, and everyone around you is just like,
what's
that's
going
just what
on?
He does. It's if you've ever seen a shonen anime, you know what this is. Mm-hmm. But I like a lot of it. Like I
really enjoyed it when I played it. Like there's no game like this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's typical of a lot of games from Japan, but we don't get like.
Yeah, we don't get this. I mean, there's like 14 games like it, but
right.
We've only got this one right now.
Yeah.
I do hope the first one comes here. And of course there's some mysterious backstory with this kid where like. Mysteriously, he knows like the star player of one of the 8th grade soccer is like the most important sport in the world in this universe.
Like the superstar that he rubs elbows with, he takes him under his wing, right?
Right. Well, there's another guy that it keeps cutting like this big championship game, and like he knows one of the star players there, and you slowly see this thing where that star player thinks, it's like, you ever think that soccer is kind of boring? And his other teammates are like, what? And you're like, so clearly you're building to a, your character is going to rise through the ranks, and your former rival is going to realize like, oh, he's back, and I gotta be. But except your character is kind of serving as a coach because he can't play sports.
Yeah.
But it's and of course it's mixed.
It's a little bit like Speed Racer and Racer X.
Oh, it has that all. This kind of thing comes out of that a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like there's a little bit of Football Manager to it, deciding who's what position and who trains and what, and ups their stats with this way and all that stuff. There's a lot of that going on. There's many different body types of characters and many different rarities and many different, like, it matters where you put people. It matters how the strategy you tell them to use and who you're switching to.
It's insane that they made this game. It is. I mean, they worked on it. Could you imagine working on this game for like 7 years, Matt?
Yeah. I mean, again, this is a big deal in Japan.
I know. It's crazy, though.
This series is a big deal in Japan.
I mean, knowing, though, that the market for it
here's an example of the castle things where you have to break through with certain attacks.
Yeah.
But again, on the football field, you can put these things up as the defensive players, and the other players have to either pass or get around them. Mm-hmm. And that's also it's not soccer, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe.
I think that's good. We need more games that are hard to describe.
So again, like I'm telling you, even if you don't care about sports, which I certainly do not.
Yeah.
There's a lot in here to like, and there's a lot that's I find compelling, and I guess I would almost say, like, if you have any fondness for like Yakuza,
it's got that vibe.
Like, it's got a vibe of that to it. It's got that kind of modern day RPG to it. So here you can see the soccer gameplay. it's very slow and sort of methodical, and so this is like you got to get around him, and now you've done the slide tackle under him. Now you're on to the next thing. You can pass over there. You everything that you need to worry about happens slow enough that it's kind of the stats man. Now you're past it, and it looks weird, but and now you get in slow motion. You can decide to pass or try to do the and now you're back. He's activated his super move, so you're gonna hit him real hard
from 2 feet.
And now you're waiting for the other player to, because there's online multiplayer for all of this.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for them to so he used a wormhole to completely defuse that, and it didn't go through.
It's a pretty cool game, but it's not for everybody. For
so
sure.
I guess soccer by way of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
You've activated my goalie trap card, basically, is what happened there.
But yeah, this B-roll gave you a nice little cross-section of what the game was like. So, I mean, this is one of those games where I would say, like, even if you're a gigantic soccer player, I don't know that it appeals to you more. It's just like, either you are into kind of weird Japanese games or you're not. I think that'll probably determine whether someone's going to be happy with
But
this.
I think, like, the soccer gameplay is... I think it's compelling enough that, like, even soccer, I mean, not that, like, if you're looking for FIFA, you're not going to find that here, but it's
a completely different take.
There's a weird thing where it kind of rings true.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know, it's what's in your head when you're a kid playing these things where everything matters.
I'm not a big FIFA player. I think I maybe enjoyed playing this more than I enjoyed playing FIFA.
The main thing is, like, yeah, you're going to play almost 10 hours before you see this.
Yeah.
I guess it's a long time before you get to actual football matches.
It takes a while. Yep.
But when you do, it's a lot
insane.
Of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. So
and you know these characters, and you're kind of invested in it. And you get to know these other teams. None of these teams are random. Like every one of these teams is a character.
And you meet them out in the world.
You know who they are. Yeah, you have some idea who they are. They all have personality descriptions. Like they play like it. Like it's. They don't have conversations, but they have like lines they yell out and stuff. You get to know some of them, and it works.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Well, it's called Inazuma 11. It's available for pretty much everything. How much did it cost?
It's full price.
Is 60 or 70?
60.
60.
And then I think there's like a special a season pass or whatever included mode with like 70 or 80. I don't know.
Which version did you buy?
PS5.
Oh,
because
is it not available for PC?
It is on PC, but so. Two things. First, I had heard that there was a lot of... Everything's cross-save, by the way. You can cross-save across all versions on this, but apparently the PC version was having some issues with stuff at launch that I didn't want to mess with. And I felt like maybe this was a couch game. Because...
It's long.
It's long.
I think you made the right call.
And apparently the PS5 was sort of like... Everyone was saying like PS5... This is not a technically demanding game. It runs fine on everything.
Yeah.
And so PS5 sort of like, this is going to give you a perfectly excellent experience. So if you just want to play it on the couch, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Okay.
And if the day comes where I do want to play it on PC at some point, I can always cross-save it.
That's true.
Because you can save locally or you can save to the cloud for your cross-save one at a time. Honestly, the feature completeness of this game is astounding.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, you've got just about everything you can think of that it would be in like a football simulator, but it's also an RPG, but it's also an arcade game, but it's also an online... It's really cool.
All right.
I dig it.
There you go. That's Inazuma 11, and again, it's available for everything, which means it has brought us to the Lightning Round News Roundup, where we go through some big stories in the industry that aren't quite big enough to make it into the main show here on GameFace. And we have another killer rundown of topics today, but I have to admit, I'm probably going to have to cut them a little bit short. So we may only be able to tackle a couple here. We'll see how many we can get through before we have to go on to play Name That Game tune. First up in the Lightning Round, you kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier, Matt.
And we also said it.
We did say this. Steam machines are going to cost, and this is according to someone from Valve, around what you would expect to pay for a PC of comparable power. So,
although when the first headline for this I read was priced, is what you've written here, priced around building equivalent PC, and I read it as the equivalent of a building. And I'm like, what?
So bottom line is, I think what most people have sort of figured out based upon this comment is that, as Matt said earlier, they're going to be like $700 for the low model and like a G for the high model. And
at least.
At least, yeah. So this is not going to be a console price. And I would just say, we put up, I mentioned this earlier, YouTube, and like we put up a couple of videos about this on our YouTube channel talking about the price and everything, and people lost their minds just going off on Pactor. Because he said they're going to he literally was right on the money. He said probably $700 and $1,000, $1,100. And people,
I don't know how you could think otherwise.
Oh my God, Matt. So many PC nerds just laid into him. I couldn't believe it. They're like, this guy's an idiot. It costs this is the power of this is worth $300, $400 max. Huh.
I mean, maybe, but that's not what it costs.
And then literally the next day,
that's what you paid for it. How much is it going to cost us?
Yeah. Notice, I'll just tell you, nobody came back to say, "Oops, sorry, I was wrong." That never happens on the internet.
No, and that's why AI models make up shit, because no one admits they're wrong.
Yeah, they were wrong, and Pactor was
Admit
right.
you're wrong on the internet, and you'll make ChatGPT better.
Take one for the team.
Take one for the team, and improve the algorithm.
So anyway, it looks like the new Steam machine is going to cost at least $700 on the low end. So it's not going to be the price of a console. It's not going to be $400 or $500.
Yeah.
It is going to be basically the price of a PC of about the same power.
Brought to you yet again by the Duh Consulting Agency.
Yep, absolutely. We're here to serve. Next up in the lightning round, we got some bad news out of the Naughty Dog camp this week.
Again.
Yeah. So both Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb and Jason Schreier from Bloomberg reported yesterday that Naughty Dog's Intergalactic is nowhere near release. It will not appear at the Game Awards, and it is not going to come out next year. They both said it is years away from release.
And as we originally were thinking, probably a PS6 launch.
This is a bridge
probably
game.
a multi-platform, PS5, PS6.
It's going to be a Breath of the Wild.
Naughty Dog is missing a generation.
An entire generation. And look, part of it's not their fault.
Oh, no.
Sony put them on that stupid Last of Us multiplayer game, which I have very reliable information from inside Naughty Dog that was not some little side project. That literally the whole squad was on that game. Like, it was going to be a big deal, and Sony canceled it. So if you're pissed off that we haven't got a new Naughty Dog game, it's really not Naughty Dog's fault. It is PlayStation, Sony Interactive's fault that it decided to have Naughty Dog work on this stupid game as a service.
As opposed to doing exactly what their strength is.
Right. It makes no sense. So anyway,
stupid.
It looks like Intergalactic is going to be a game that's going to straddle the line between PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 6. My guess is it probably comes out at the end of 2027 or early 2028, which is already what PlayStation has hinted at for the release window for PlayStation 6. So there you go. No game from Naughty Dog for the entire PlayStation 5 generation. Crazy. Next up in the lightning round, we have some good news instead of some bad news. And the good news is that finally the Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake is coming. And it is coming in the first quarter of next year. And we also got some information about it. And word on the street is that Farah is not going to be the damsel in distress anymore. That she is going to be much more self-sufficient in this remake. So they are going to make significant changes to this game for the remake. And then the other news we got...
The remake of the remake of the remake.
The other news that we got is that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, the remake of that, is also coming early next year. We
got a day for that one, didn't we?
What'd you say?
We got a day for that one.
Was there a specific date for it?
I want to say it was like February 23rd or something.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually. All I knew is that it was coming out this fiscal, which means it has to come out before March 31st.
No, I saw a day for that, I think.
Interesting.
I think it was February 23rd.
I missed that somehow. Well, that's great news. So, both, finally, Ubisoft is getting off its ass. We're getting Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag remakes in the first quarter-ish of 2026, which is pretty awesome. 2 remakes we've been keeping our eye on for a really...
March 23rd.
March 23rd? So there's a hard date for it.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. So there you go. 2 games, 2 remakes we've been waiting for a long time that are coming. And then the final topic for this week's lightning round is that Ampere put out a study, or released the results of a study this week, that said that 56% of all gamers prefer single-player games. Which is good that it's more than half, but
it's not how the money is made, apparently.
Yeah, and
although it is, they just don't.
They've not done this study before, so we don't know how the line is moving there. I would assume that number keeps getting smaller over time if they're sampling the younger audience, I guess. And this figure also shifted significantly as the age group got older. So the older you got, the higher the percentage went of people who preferred single-player games. Mm-hmm. So we're all on the squad, and we all are pulling the rope in the same direction.
Well, we're not on the squad. We're by ourselves. We're playing by ourselves.
Right. We're on the squad who likes to play by themselves. Yes. And unfortunately, all the people who are coming up behind us aren't interested in the same stuff that we are. So my guess is every year this probably drops by 1% or something like that. But at least for now, we're holding on for dear life.
Well, those kids don't have any money.
You're right. They're
cater to us.
And they're never going to have any money either.
Probably
not. So anyway.
You don't have a house, you have Roblox.
Yeah, seriously. As of right now, we're in the majority, but I don't know how much longer it's going to last because the younger kids are definitely not like us at all. Try as I might to change all my nieces and nephews, I cannot.
Well,
I have tried.
I was more of a multiplayer person when I was younger, too, but then you get old and slow.
You grew out of it.
You grow out of it.
We'll see if that happens for, it's not even Gen Z. What is a Gen after Gen Z?
Gen Alpha.
Is that Alpha? Is that what they're calling it, Alpha? Yeah. That's them. So we'll see.
They'll probably get a proper name later. You know how Gen Y became the millennials.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see. But anyway, they do not like games the way that we do, so that number is probably going to come down over time. And then as a small aside, before we move on, the Xbox may go increase in price again because of a RAM shortage because of AI. So Xbox prices may go up again. This time, it's not tariff-related. It literally is AI-related because AI is sucking up all the frickin' RAM and all the components.
Oh, hi, I upgraded the price of your RAM.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, who knows how much, if this gets really bad, Steam machines, maybe they aren't announcing the price because they're like, we don't know what it's going to cost yet because the price of this stuff is so fluid.
Well,
so
I'm not worried. I hope the price comes down by the time I get a new PC in 2031 to play Witcher 4.
Yeah.
Because
your PC may still hold up at that point.
It might.
It's that awesome.
I mean, you saw like Witcher 4 has now been. They said it's been in full development for a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cyberpunk took 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And technically 5.5 years.
I'm like, wait a minute.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't finished for another year.
Yeah.
So we could be. I don't think we're playing Witcher 4 this decade.
Yeah, it's probably going to straddle gens too. Just like
I think it's going to be 2 years into the next year.
You think so?
I think it'll be 2030.
Dang. That sucks. All right. That does it for the lightning round, which means there's just one thing left to do. That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com. The absolute wizards in audio. They can work on any kind of audio you got, but they specialize in video games. In fact, I just talked to a sifter this week. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we have a tier on our Patreon called You Own Me, where you can pay $50 for a month and you get an hour with me to do whatever you want. We can play games together.
I like that.
Within reason. But we can play games together. We can just sit and chat. You can give me an assignment or something. You can do anything you want. You literally own me. And somebody pledged at that tier this month, and for their session with me, they wanted me to consult on a game that they're working on. And I played their game, and then we got together and we talked about it for an hour, and then he went and made changes to the game based upon stuff that I told him like an hour later, which is really cool. But anyway, what I'm getting at is there are tons of people making video games. You don't have to be a huge studio to need a sound team. So whether you're working on a Game of the Year contender or you're working on your little side project, contact Soundwizardry.com. Not only have they worked on a bunch of Game of the Year winners and contenders, they will also work on your small project. They will work on your film. They will work on your podcast. They're the audio masters. Go to Soundwizardry.com. They're also awesome people. Glenn and crew, some of the best people I've ever worked with. That is not hyperbole. If you need audio for anything, but particularly if you're working on a video game, contact Soundwizardry.com. They are awesome. They let us play this cool little game where I play 5 audio samples from a game, and you try to guess the name of the game before this guy. A couple things before we get going. If you've won this calendar year, do not play, although we're almost at the end of the year. If you don't play PC games, please do not play, because if you win, you get a PC game. And then finally, the chat goes into slow mode. You can only input one chat every 60 seconds. Don't try to spam the chat with a bunch of random gobbledygook. You will not win. All right, Matt, let me turn up your headphones and get you hooked up here. I'm ready to go. Let me bring up the interface for Name That Game Tune. And sorry, YouTube, as always, unfortunately, we can only play this game over on Twitch. If you want to jump over there real quickly to play, that would be cool. But otherwise, thank you guys and girls over on YouTube for supporting us for another episode. You guys make the show better. All right, Matt, are you ready to play Name That Game Tune?
Yeah.
Let me... Oh, I need to bring in the files real quick. All right, we are ready to go. Here's the first sample. In 3, 2, 1. Kirby 64, no. Commander Keen, no. Chrono Trigger, no. Turok, no. Metal Gear Solid, no. Metroid Prime, no. Buzz the Music Quiz, no. War Gods, no. Hybrid Heaven, no. Everyone thinks I'm going N64 here. Alien Isolation, no. Syndicate, nope. Boop! We have a winner. The Legacy got it. It is Killer Instinct. Wow. Great job, man. Wow, that is awesome. Congratulations, The Legacy, on the first clue. Eric Cartmanis, I send you to Super Mario World for Christmas? Wow, good job, The Legacy. Not too many people other than Matt get it on the first one. That's very rare. And I'll play the rest of them just so to have some fun and you know that I did my work. Here's the second one.
Is it the Super Nintendo or the arcade?
Super Nintendo,
okay.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't quite.
Yeah, I cut out any voice samples from all of them and because I figured it would just give it away. Here's the fourth one. And here's the last one. Ready. Congratulations, The Legacy. Always good to see a longtime supporter. You're here pretty much every week watching the show live. That's the exact people we like to see win Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com.
Ultra Combo.
That's right. I thought about that one. It's like the fifth one or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a race to see who can type or whatever. So The Legacy, you know how to get at me. You can DM us here on Twitch. You can DM me on SIFTD. I'm at Shane. You can DM us on Blue Sky. I'm Shane Satterfield and SIFTD there. You can get at me. We'll start coordinating to get you your free game. And congratulations for winning Name That Game Tune. And that is going to do it for this special Turkey Day edition of GameFace. I hope everybody has an amazing and safe Thanksgiving if you're in the Americas. And if you're in Europe, I hope you just have an awesome week.
Have a good Thursday.
Seriously. Like I said, site's going dark on Thursday for sure. Maybe on Friday. We'll see how I'm feeling when I get up on Friday. I guess it'll just depend on if I'm feeling froggy or not. If I feel like I'm...
Indiana, let it go.
You know what? You're right. I think I'm going to take the day off. I've had like 2 days off the whole damn year, so I'm probably going to take Friday off. I'm just going to tell you right now. But just a big thanks to everybody who supports us in any way. Everybody who shows up to watch the show live and gives us Twitch Prime. All our patrons. If you just like the show, if you've ever reviewed the show on a podcast, anything that you've ever done to help SIFTD, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And a big thanks to the people who are taking the time to help us out with Twitch Prime. If you're watching on YouTube, go down below. There's step-by-step instructions on how to do it. It is the holidays, and we really need that money. It's not extra money for us. So if you haven't done Twitch Prime for a long time, if you could do it this month, we'd really appreciate it. Again, instructions down below if you're on YouTube. And of course, you can just help us out at patreon.com/SIFTD for $5 a month. You get this show several days early. You get Pactor Factor a week early. I should also add, if you do Twitch Prime, you get Pactor Factor with our patrons over on our Twitch channel. So it's definitely worth it. And then if you can't do that and you don't like subscription services or whatever, go to donate.siftd.net. A lot of people like to buy us a beer for the holidays. You can go over there. You can plunk in any amount of money you want. It takes every credit card and PayPal in over 100 different countries. A lot of people do that around the holidays. Again, go to donate.siftd.net. That would be sweet. And that's going to do it for GameFace 460. Matt, thank you for everything. I am so thankful for you. And to deliver this to me on this day, just amazing, man. Thank you, Matt. I can't...
And thank you to Analogue for actually shipping it this year.
Seriously.
We were wondering about Q2 next year for a while there.
Yeah. So, again, hope everybody has safe travels. If you're traveling somewhere, if you're listening to me right now while you're on a plane, hope you have a great landing and you get to your family safe and sound, and hope you have a lot of great food to eat, and just have an awesome Thanksgiving holiday. So, everybody, whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving or not, have a great week filled with great games. GameFace is up and out.